what happened with the Cthulhu stuff that you were going to be doing?
A lot of dead silence. I spent a year, going back and forth with them, and one person would say yeah, and then and finally I was like, I don't, it's not worth it.
God stinks.
Okay.
So we have stopped pursuing the license just because it seemed like there was somebody somewhere that was either actively blocking or foot dragging.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because I know you guys would do much better content than some other nameless publishers that are out there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It seemed like several people that I would have thought were making decisions were, excited for us to be doing some stuff. So it still mystifies me. But it just seemed like, and I guess, some other people like, Skeeter's doing some stuff, and I think Ben Barsh is doing some stuff. So I think there are things happening, which is good. So I don't know if we...
What's up, Patrick? See you tomorrow morning, too.
Yeah. Oh, you kind of invented a meme there. It's like, what happened to Call of Cthulhu? Dead silence. Yeah.
Dead silence.
Who knows? Maybe in a few years, something will sparkle back up.
Yeah.
On the other hand, though, we've been so crazy busy that I don't know what we would have been able to do if we had gotten if we'd gotten permission to go forward. I would have had to put aside everything else.
How does D&D 1 affect you guys?
We're waiting to find out. I think there's a couple possibilities, but my best guess is not very much, because I think that the big changes are going to be player facing and not adventure writer facing. They'll change character classes, they'll change feats, they'll change whatever, but none of that really changes how we write adventures. So unless there's some big, and there's a few things they were talking about that may change, that we may change. I know there's been a lot of talk about what's happening with the OGL and the SRD stuff, and I'm not sure that's going to matter either, because I don't know how much they can actually, they can't sort of retroactively kick us out, I don't think.
As long as it's compatible with the old stuff, then there's
Right.
not. Ian World had a very good breakdown. Russ Morrissey, he wrote a really good article explaining how it worked and stuff. So quite
I
one
think,
was to deep dive into it. That was
When Steven comes on, he'll tell you he's excited about the opportunities it's going to present for the games.
okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
There are. I think there's some big opportunities potentially. If WotC pisses enough people, this is the kind of misstep potentially out of which Paizo and Pathfinder was born. Right? And that's a big opportunity.
Yeah. Each edition change means opportunities too, so to speak. So so it's a chance. So, but I also think one of the things that previous editions, the changes of the rules have been the most interesting or different, kind of interesting focus parts. But this time, I think it's the Wizard of the Coast business model that will be the most interesting part of the change. Not so much if they change the rules, if you get a feed at first level. So I think that's marginal. But I think their business model is the one that at least everybody else in the business will pay way more attention to their future business model rather than what the rule set changes.
Yeah, no, and it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. I think, if they, make a serious run at, Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds and Foundry, and if they're successful, that's a big deal. But if they make a serious run and they fail, then that's also So I think there's a lot up in the air right now.
Yep, definitely.
Good evening,
And of
Dale.
course, we've been talking about also,
Troy.
what we can do digitally, but not in a more as a way to just get information, get stuff out, and what we can provide as digital tools that would be probably free.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think we are kind of the paradigm shift that started a little bit tentatively 20 years ago with the first PDFs and stuff coming out is now coming full force, that digital is now an equal part of publishing, so to speak, and it's finding its kind of shape and impact basically everything that we do.
That's it, pal. Microtransactions.
For good and bad. So yeah, because there's a lot of cool things coming out of it, but it's also, the change is also, there's also downsides to it and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be.
Now we got
I'm excited.
The nice long Christmas card, holiday card episode.
Oh wow, yeah.
Trollord.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. Wow.
Hope everyone's doing well tonight.
Continue here, getting rid of all this silly stuff on my desktop.
Yeah, I clear one monitor, so I have like Zoom and Evernote with notes and Twitch chat and the other stuff on one monitor. So yeah.
I was reading for the first time, which surprised me, The Lost Caverns of Sojkant, or however we want to pronounce it.
Did you say for the first time?
I did.
I loved that one back when I was a teenager.
I need to read it again. I think I read it like 15 years ago. I've read it twice. I haven't played it, but I read it twice.
Gitano, though, she doesn't have that 4000 series. Gitano, West Coast is going dim. Anna has her PC turned on.
Yes, yeah, and not only that, I did a render that was done 2 hours ago that took 17 hours. So I've sucked the juice out of the whole Southern California power grid here. So yeah. But it raised the temperature here. I took off my shirt stuff. We have basically run no heating. It's 55 degrees outside, so it's like 60 in the house, but it's cozy 75 degrees.
I mean, electric heating's super efficient, and if it happens to do a little computing while it's heating your house,
yeah,
that's
I was
all
just
good.
going to say this is dual heating, because this one runs probably about 700 watts when I'm rendering and running it full blast. It's a 1300 watts PSU in it, so it runs probably about 700-800 watts, something like that, and so that basically comes out as heat as well.
Yep. Yeah, it's all heat. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a good byproduct. So yeah. And
I'm
having two other desktops too. I have two other desktops too. I have my old desktop that is not a slouch. It's a 5-year-old 8-core 7th gen Intel, and then I have another one that is a 6-core, also 7th gen, that I'm doing the Twitch and all that stuff on, so to speak. So I have three desktop computers that are kind of not too bad. Shabby, neither of them. So yeah. And this old 6-core actually have 128 gigabyte of RAM, because that one was originally my 3D rendering machine only. So
Dale, it should have ended with Join the Fray, but I think Chuck wanted to be a little more holiday-based and Join the Fray on that last ad, so gotta respect that. I haven't set it up yet. I'm holding off on setting it up till we come live, then I'll set up the drawing. Yeah. So
awesome! A big thank you to Troy for Cannibal for that. Yes, awesome. Yep.
We have 18 giveaways, including some really great stuff, including a first ever on the channel giveaway, which is awesome. I know. Just like you busted my balls about not finding Girl on the map. I saw that. I was so exhausted, man. Like, where the hell is Girl?
Yeah. But you can always say, listen, it's on the wrong side of the map, so you don't need to.
Yeah, it's on the right side. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. It's on the
And then Alyssa's only doing right side map cities now, which it's like, come on, left side.
Yeah. Well, blue was on the list, so let's see what can come out of that one. Yeah.
I've had some conversations around.
We want to hear an update on future projects.
Almond cities.
Oh. That sounds
which
very
could
intriguing
be
and interesting. Yeah.
different, right?
Yeah.
So maybe, I mean, Blue definitely I'm gonna do at some points, but maybe an Almond City.
That
up
sounds
next.
cool. There's some to choose from, and go tropical a bit.
Oh,
and so on. That
Exactly,
can sound-
right?
Yeah,
The
that sounds
architecture
fun.
would be different.
Yep, that
there he
sounds
goes.
fun. Good choice. Yeah.
Just in time for the enter. Just played your
Hello.
Christmas, Steven.
Hey,
Welcome.
how you doing?
Just played your
Welcome.
Christmas card ad.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I heard a Dr. Pepper crack. Oh, I cracked one open.
Gotta get ready for the stream.
Get ready for some madness. Hope everyone's doing well here. Look at 7:53. We're ahead of time too. I mean, I don't know. We're losing our minds here. Actually, on schedule. Appreciate everyone hopping on here. Got some cool stuff coming on. See what's going on for 2023 as well. I'm always thinking, what did I forget? Melissa, I guess I'm good, right? Forgot some-
Find out in 20 minutes when you forgot.
Yeah, the title's right. Sound okay. All checks. Check. Was it a Dr. Pepper Cream Ale, Scottish Jeff asked Stephen?
No, it was Dr. Pepper.
It was just plain old Dr. Pepper, Scottish Jeff. There you go. All right, we're gonna come live. Look at that. We're gonna come live a few minutes early. Why not? Everyone's here. Let's get the party started. Our holiday cheer, second annual holiday cheer episode.
Stephen, you want to do that secret project in 2023?
Absolutely. Whenever you're ready to get started.
I'm ready. I've been guilty on it for the last 6 months. I've actually got it there, but the year just kind of did something kind of crazy.
Okay, Josh, I'll get the drawing set up. My God.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's move it forward.
Jump in on the gates here.
Yes.
Mhm.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our second Frog God Troller Game Holiday Cheer episode. And welcome everyone. Hopefully you're having your holidays have already started. Mine have, because I'm done work for the year. I can actually get some writing done too, Stephen, which is great. And so let's welcome our guests here. So we have first time on the show ever, Mr. Edwin Nagy of Frog God Games. Edwin, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me.
It's good to see you. Really good to
You
see
too.
you, and looking forward
It's
to
good to see all of you.
yeah, looking forward to some nice discussion and input there. Hey, Skagga, thanks for the raid in, man. All the way from Sweden. No monks tonight either. You don't have to worry about it.
That's awesome.
And we got the legendary Stephen Chenault from Troller Games on too. Stephen, thank you for coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I appreciate it. And this is going to be let me get out shout outs for both companies there. So, all right, it should be good now. Yes, it is. We don't have as many giveaways as we did last year. Last year was crazy, right? We had 32, and I just couldn't even keep track. So we got 18 this year for the holiday. All right, is that enough? 18. Talking about some great things. So we got two $25 gift certificates for Frog God. Chuck gave us 515s for Troll Lord, 510s digital for Troll Lord, plus the really, really cool things here we got tonight at the end. We're gonna do. I got 2 sets of this Tome of Alchemy book and the World of Lost Lands maps. We got 2 of those. We got 2 of these Book of Lost Spells and the World of Lost Lands maps. 2 of those.
Nice.
From Troll Lord, we have the following 3. I don't even know if Stephen knows if he's signed. Oh, that's wrong there. Sorry. But that's one of the ones from Frog God. I don't know if you even realize you're signing all 3 of these, Stephen.
I did not know, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
The entire NPC collection. The Book of Names, the
nice.
sketches, and the register, all signed by Stephen Chenault. All right? That's a big...
Excellent.
Yes, and then I really courtesy of Troy Cannibal fits for this show a brand new, so you can do your own mapping, Wacom tablet.
Whoa.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so yes, so that'll be those are the 18. All right, and of course it'll be, as we go through order, it'll be choice, and I got a log already made up so I can keep track of it all. So just note that yes.
Jay,
Yes.
I'll tell you what, on my Patreon, I've got something like a 50-page, 70-page how to map a city guide.
Oh,
that
awesome.
I released to my patrons. Whoever wins that, if they have an interest, I'll send them a copy.
Oh, fantastic.
That's
Or
great.
you
Yep.
could win that and then sign up for Alyssa's Patreon if you haven't yet. And
I'll give it
Anna's,
to you anyway.
Yeah.
No worries.
because you should be doing that already, right? Because, yes, absolutely. All right. So I don't even know where we begin tonight. Listen, Anna, why don't you guys begin somewhere and then pull in our great sponsor hosts here, and let's talk some mapping for end of 2022, beginning of 2023.
Hey, Jay, can I interrupt before you guys dive in real quick?
Yes, please.
Look, can you see this?
It's a kumquat.
Yes.
Yes,
Your tree, the
that
kumquat
is
tree. Yes,
awesome.
the
Yeah,
Altamira
let me see it.
kumquats.
I'm gonna see if I can rotate. Can you see it? It's got
Oh,
like 30 of them on there. I don't know if you
oh
can see it.
wow!
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, your first genuine, real
that
Altamira
is so
kumquats.
awesome.
Yes.
That is fantastic.
We got some kumquats courtesy of Troller Games for the Free City of Altamira. So and a lot of that coming too, man. Now that I got free, I finally got some free time. I'm going to be cranking out some stuff. And I cranked out some stuff already. We're going to show tonight too. Oh,
Yep.
Thanks, Dan Weirdo, waiting for that too. Let's get a hype train rolling too. I think that's going to be a good thing there. So tell us, Anna, Alyssa, talk to us.
Alyssa, you start first.
Start
you have
off.
so many
Start off
cool
with
kind of
some
stuff all over
ideas
the
and some
place here.
discussions
Yeah.
here.
Now, are we
So-
talking about our projects? Are we talking about?
Let's talk about like what happened in 2022 and what you want to have happen in 2023.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mhm.
So I think highlights for me. The biggest highlight was actually sitting behind Stephen at GaryCon one night at the bar, and for the entire night, he absolutely didn't recognize me. That was a peach because he was holding court. And I can only describe it as holding court to so many people, and they must have been his fellow workers. And it was they've got the corner of the room, you know what I mean? And he had his back to the room, which I think is bad, assassination attempts and all the rest of it. But being ignored by Stephen was a definite highlight. That was like the top of my particular Christmas
That's
tree.
crazy.
You could have whacked me on the head. There's a
I
good
didn't
chance
want it,
I-
man. You were just so
That's
animated
nuts.
all night. It was crazy.
How did that
No,
happen?
no, and I joke, obviously. So no, I think some of the big things for me is one, I'm doing less commissions now. Now that may seem weird, but in doing less commissions, I can actually focus on the people that I really truly enjoy working with, whether they be the trolls or Frog Guard. But freeing up some time to get into some Greyhawk City maps. This has been something that Anna's been trying to get me to do for many years. And so actually getting in there, it's been really, really enjoyable so far. I'm really enjoying the challenge. So that has definitely been a highlight. That's also going to feed the decks a little bit too, for me to work more closely with Stephen on a super secret project
Awesome.
that we spoke about years ago, and he's waiting on me. So being able to free up my decks a little bit was definitely fun, but also honestly working with Chaosium, getting 2 maps out for Chaosium.
Nice.
That was, I didn't even realize that I was chasing that as a career goal, but the minute they approached me and asked me to draw 2 maps of London, I realized, yes, this is something I wanted in my
that has been some
portfolio.
really fun work to watch happening. I've really enjoyed that.
Cheers,
I
Edmund.
was
I really
super
appreciate
excited
that.
for you when I saw that you were tied in there, because they have been doing off and on, but more on than off, some awesome map stuff. And so it's really
They've got
exciting
better
that they're
on their
like, hey,
maps. Some of their early stuff has kind of been functional, but I think they've taken a creative direction where their maps are beginning to really shine, in some of their pieces. Matt Ryan is on their staff now. Matt Ryan is a very gifted guy. He's awesome. And I had the pleasure of meeting him and actually sitting down and breaking bread with him at a Gamehole Con here recently. So, I think getting closer ties with the Chaosium crew and drawing London twice in two very different styles, and you're going to get to see the second one that I couldn't say anything. I actually did it last year, and they finally released the Rivers of London like about a month ago.
Can I show these, the Rivers of London modern day master?
You absolutely can show the Rivers of London.
This
very
one?
different style for me.
This it?
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Now, if you zoom in on that,
just keep going. Just keep right on going until you get into the basement, and then in the corner of the basement, over on the.
It looked. I mean, every road and every alleyway is on this map. It's a very. I intended to do it more as a tourist map.
Yeah.
That was the intentional style, and I think I captured that, especially with the colors and so on and so forth. It has a slightly, I'm going to call it, almost tipped perspective to it that you've got to sort of hold this map to see, but it kind of almost leans down a little bit. And like I say, every road, every alleyway is on this thing. So it's got a good texture.
That's amazing.
Very, very cool. So this is for something that's coming out next year?
Out.
Oh,
yeah,
it's out.
It's out now. So Rivers of London is huge in England. It's a book series, and it's absolutely huge. Over here in America, they've renamed it because that's what America does. And I forget what the name is. But Rivers of London is absolutely massive, and they've got the license. And it's not like a Call of Cthulhu title. It's its own system based upon their, percentile sort of, was it SRD? I think
BRP.
Thank you.
They call it
BRP,
sewers
basic
here or
role
something.
playing system.
So,
so this Rivers of London is...
What is it? What is Rivers of London?
No, it's more of a modern day, sort of semi-magic sort of setting.
It's a magical police force.
Yes.
Detective stories, basically.
Ooh, Edwin knows.
Yes.
Yeah. The PDF came out in November. The hard copy is going to be first part of next year. So I
haven't seen the game yet. I read several of the books a year or two ago, but I haven't seen the game yet. I'm excited for it. Cool. But the books are fun.
So we are we're going past almost level 7 hype train already. It's crazy. So thanks everyone.
Oh my God.
Thank you for the holiday cheer. So note earlier in the year, Anna, Alyssa, and myself, we had a great time. We actually did a Call of Cthulhu stream, right? On the channel.
We did.
Yep.
Yes. And my brain is off as far as who hosted it. Who was this game?
It was Matt Ryan, wasn't it?
Matt, yes, it was Matt.
Ryan.
Oh my God. Yes, that was a blast.
He was running the game, and
that was a blast. We kind of all survived too, which was really scary.
Yeah, we kind of did.
Well, because we ran away.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I stayed inside the circle because I was dumb, but it didn't matter, right? So, yeah.
I was just obstinate bastard the whole time. So,
that was a fun time. That was a real fun time. So we've done a lot of different things. We're going to keep in that tradition here. D&D number 1. The game. But like I said, tomorrow morning, Alyssa's got to get up at 5:00 in the morning, her time, to play in the BattleTech game tomorrow morning. So we got a special BattleTech game. Yep, tomorrow. Usually once or twice a year, I run that too. So. Yeah, so we got.
This will be one of those rare moments where you actually see me with coffee in my hand and not an alcoholic beverage.
You don't put that in the coffee?
It might
Don't give my secrets away, Edwin. For heaven's sake.
You just changed
It's all
the
I
cup.
could do, not to have a mimosa in the morning. Like, God damn, it's 6:00 in the morning. She's got a mimosa already. I can't be that bad. Well, I can.
Yeah, but the great thing is that the discussion here will go outside other genres and other game systems, and just a lot less pressure now than last year, right, Anna? Not to worry. We can experiment. We can do all sorts of fun things here, and that's a great thing. And I'm really looking. Hey, Naz, what's going on? I mean, look, the Naz is on. He's our longest subscriber outside my inner circle of friends. It's 52 months. That's like 4 years and 4 1/3 years. Where the hell did the time go, Steven? My God. You know what I'm saying? It's just nuts. It's crazy what's been going on. So and that's the thing. We can open it up to other games and all. And I'm glad to hear about this with Chaosium there. So really great map, Alyssa, on this. Really fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And honestly, one of the highlights of 2022 for me, and I'm sure we all share this to a degree, get back into gaming, post-COVID, get back at the conventions. Running an 8-hour game at Gamehole Con.
Oh my gosh.
Was an absolute blast. It really got it back, because that's what I do at home. I'm going to run a full session for the entire Saturday. So actually, I thought, I wonder if convention crews would go with this. Take a 9-hour slot, have a break in the middle, and it was amazingly popular. And they want me back next year to do a part 2. So
awesome.
That's going to be a new thing for me. I think at conventions, I'm just going to start doing 9-hour games. Next year, more of the same. Every single quarter, I'm going to do a Greyhawk City map. I am having too much fun with these. Super Secret Project with Steven here. GaryCon map in Q1. Talking to Luke right now about what the theme will be for that one. And finishing the bloody cosmology map, which we're going to take a look at a little bit later on the show.
Absolutely.
That's going to be I've got a busy Q1. I'm beginning to stress about it. But yeah, just a lot more of the same.
So, Edwin, how about Matt? What tidbits? What's coming out early 2023? Anything exciting?
Of course. I think the main thing that I am working on that's big-ish is a new, what are we calling it? A Tome of Spell Mastery.
Okay, cool.
So it's not just spells, but spellcasters and casting rules. So I've been working on that for a while, and I am hoping that this little holiday break will get me in there pretty deeply. I was just thinking, though, because I think we're supposed to talk about maps, that
we can talk about whatever, man.
No,
Trust me.
I know, but I have
Trust
a
me,
fun
we're all
map thing
cool here.
up.
And you're sponsoring, so you can talk whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. In January, we have our local gaming convention here in Maine, and I am running. We ran this a couple years ago at North Texas, but it's using the Teagle Manor maps in their full 16-foot by 16-foot version, so that we stand on the maps and have these giant foam dice and big minis that we can move around. And because the map is so phenomenal, and we'll actually have two parties playing in the house at the same time with two separate GMs, and I have no idea how much chaos it's going to be, but I'm very excited for it. Thanks to the shower curtain maps of awesomeness.
That sounds like a lot of Bill Webb right there.
Oh no! So we actually have rules and room descriptions and everything. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so that's coming up, I guess, in about a month. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Very, very cool. So this is what will this beat my own record or not? Let's see if I can do this in the next 2 minutes here. So Steven, tell us a little bit about tidbits that are coming on in early 2023. Well, I'm going to give some community gift subs myself here. So
sounds good. All right. Well, we're going to start the year off with a Kickstarter on the Codex of Erd. That book is its second printing is about to sell out. We are re-editing it, cleaning it all up. We'll have new art in it. It won't have a new map. I want to go with the Peter Bradley map on there, because I think to get the map that you see behind me, to have that redone would be a monumental task, which I would love to see a couple of cartographers work on, maybe in the future, but I know everyone's schedule is booked. So we'll do the Codex of Erd first, and then Davis's Arms and Armor, which is going to be called the Adventurer's Armory. It was going to be this 150-page book of arms, weapons, equipment, all that business, arms, armor, shields, and helms. But he's already surpassed the limit that he was supposed to do on it. So it's going to be 2 volumes, I think, probably both. They'll definitely both be hardcover. We'll be rolling that out. The Kickstarter will come out on that in probably second quarter. And then depending on when I'm finishing, I'm writing the Codex of the Plains right now. I was supposed to have it done by the end of this year. That misfired for a variety of reasons, but I'm hoping.
You got 2 weeks, man.
Christmas.
Yep.
So I'm hoping to wrap that up first quarter and then get that into editing and layout and all that business. So it's going to be an extremely busy but fun first quarter and into second quarter next year.
Excellent. We, and there's always something coming up. Like, for example, third weekend in February, we're going to have our 5th annual St. Jude fundraiser event. So I'll be asking you to DM in that, Steven, like you have the last couple of years. We raised $20,500 last year. And so we're working on that already, and it's going to be called Legends this year. And with that, the reason I'm like, how am I going to surpass? So Ed Greenwood, Eric Mona, and Richard Baker have all confirmed. So far. So it's another thing I'm going to do on my holiday, not for working my real job. I'm going to be sending out and see how many legends of the game I can get to play in all these different streams, and that's how I figure that's what we'll see if we can pump it up that way. Thank you, everyone. Wow, that was a unbelievably great hype train. Really appreciate it. And then GaryCon's right around the corner after that, and we're back to where we were last year. So with a lot of wonderful things going on. So, how about you, Anna?
Well, this year I've started to look back a little bit, and this is right now is kind of a jubilee, because back in 1997 in December was when I started laying the groundwork for the current Greyhawk map that I've been living with since. So that's 25 years ago at the moment, so to speak. And it's also 10 years since I started doing this professionally full time. So it's kind of a double jubilee just at this moment, so to speak. So this year have been for me kind of a transition from the old. I'm doing the last project of that 25-year-old map that has lived with me since 1997. We have some screenshots of the early ones that we can show later on, so to speak. Oh yeah, you can. Do you have some? Take oldest Lenny screenshot. Take that one and put in that's what it looked like 25 years ago. That's I think I've shown it on one previous one, but that's wow. What the first kind of tries 25 years ago, and there are parts of that are still on the map to this day, so to speak. So those are the earliest first kind of things that I did a lot of tries for about a year or so, but this was the first concerted things that actually made it into the map. And that has now lived in various updates and formats for first it took 15 years at least to get it done. That was done in 2012, I think. There was basically all of it done, and now it's been extended down to Hipmonaland. It's been updated every year for 10 years. And now I'm actually doing the last version of this map as it existed for 25 years. And that is wrapping up the 598 Atlas. Once that is done, this map will have, this version of the map will have served its purpose, so to speak. And so this is kind of an end of an era. And while I'm wrapping it up, I'm also this year have kind of formalized my next generation of Greyhawk mapping. And I've been doing it both for my own campaign with the Shieldlands, where I've done a little bit over 1,000 square miles. And now also for the Altamira project, I've done currently 3,600 square miles in one go. And
that's a little more than we were going to do it first.
Yes, exactly. But you see, I'm doing a large area. So we have remember I said we need to have for stretch goals and stuff.
Yeah.
So we have probably roughly about 100 miles in every direction of Altamira, so to speak. So I'm setting the standard for the future, what I think will be, and I have to be honest here and start thinking I'm soon 60. That means that I'm best of worlds. I have 25 more years to do this. So that means that I need to start thinking, what do I want to do with this? Probably about 20 or so years that I can continue to do it. So I'm starting to set up my goals for the next 20 years, just like I did back 25 years ago, what I wanted to do. I thought it would take 5 years or 10 years back then, but now I'm thinking more long term, so to speak. So the the goals or my leading ideas for the future is to map more of Greyhawk, do it more, concentrate on 3 things: mapping Greyhawk better, and then teach others to do the same thing that I do. Those will be the 3 leading main themes going forward, so to speak. So that means, just like Alyssa, I will do way less commissions, and I will wind down other operations. I will do commissions only when they suit one of these 3 purposes, so to speak. That's when I will do commissions. It's been so awesome to be in demand, and as an artist, it's a privilege that people reach out to you and say, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? And this year, the past couple of years, I've been working on probably 15 small or big projects here and there. And that has been too much for my poor brain to kind of be so diversified into things. So I will definitely concentrate in the future and work way more on Greyhawk and try to do it way better, setting new standards, and then teach others to do it. Those will be my 3 main guiding principles going forward, so to speak. That's awesome. That's the main gist of it. So yeah. And now I have the hardware too. So I can tell you, the 2 standards, I can render 3,600 square miles at 5 feet, my porta potty scale at 5 feet per pixel. But I'm going to do regional maps. That's probably how I will tackle Flânese. Then I can do, let's see, I counted 384,000 square miles in one go at 50 feet per pixel. So it will be somewhere around there. And that means that I can do Greyhawk fairly. I've done a few tests, and damn, they look good, so to speak. So it's coming. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's coming. So now I have both the hardware and the software to do that effectively. So we can, instead of this base map that is 25 years old, that has 1 mile per pixel, now we're talking 50 feet per pixel. So and then we can do all the detail areas like Temple of Elemental Evil, City of Greyhawk, and stuff like that at 5 feet per pixel, or even better, fairly effectively. So
you may convince someone to get World of Erd a little more detailed too there.
Yeah. So we can kind of,
after he sees what's coming up with the Altamira area there.
Mm-hmm. That's why projects like Altamira fits in perfectly, because that will actually be dual purpose. It was something that goes into a commercial product, but I can also use all the efforts of that into the next stage of Greyhawk mapping, so to speak. Yes. And there were a whole bunch of other aspects of this that we go into later in the show, and that I will burst out to my patrons in coming. But that's the main theme of things, so to speak, that I'm working on at the moment. Yeah.
What do you work much with, like, you probably talk about this all the time, but since I'm new on the show, I'm just going to ask you about it. It's sort of the multi-resolution stuff. I mean, obviously you're talking about these enormous maps. And so what do you do versus what happens sort of automatically in terms of choices that happen as you're zooming in and out on these massive maps?
I basically create a virtual 3D terrain. So instead of, meaning if you look at Google Maps and other real world maps, they go out and using satellite, radar, and other tools to map the real world. And because we don't have a real world, that means that I have to generate the elevation maps and stuff, and then I create the texture maps and stuff. So we have a model of the world, so to speak. And then we can tweak and put the roads where you want them. You can put the cities where you want them and stuff like that. So my idea of mapping is to provide a canvas that each DM who plays in Greyhawk can put their own stuff on it, so to speak. I will provide a basic saying that the iconic, the lore is placed here, but people can simply, I don't want a city there, so they can just delete that layer and paint the roads where they want them, and even change forests and stuff like that. So it's basically a set of data that you will be able to go in if you have the right knowledge. And it's not that difficult once it's to generate the basic data is the difficult bit. To alter it requires way less.
I was thinking, like, because like for Google Earth, they have made decisions about how it renders as you zoom in and out, and so I guess that's what I was wondering, is you're mostly working on the underlying data, but then presumably sometimes you're also working on the representation of the data.
And that's the cool thing, because now I'm switching to using real world cartography tools like GIS and stuff, and that way you can use the same data and present it as on a parchment with medieval looking symbols and old parchment text, or you can have a satellite view that looks absolutely accurate, so to speak.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So the thing, and you can take the stuff into Photoshop and then put little clouds and mess it up and kind of burn it down and put like an ash texture of it, say, oh, it's demon infestation, and open a hole into the abyss and stuff like that. So it is the basic canvas that DMs and others who want to make their own version of Greyhawk can take that basic data and tweak it to their liking, so to speak. That's the main idea of it. And also to teach others how to use the same setup and templates that I've used to create other terrain for other fantasy mapping projects. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Josh can't help himself. He's in chat. I need to mire all the vampires. Noble can't help himself. He's got to push my buttons.
Yeah. And I will say one little thing in this is also that I want to have all my Greyhawk content will be released under Creative Commons. So they will be, people can use them, share them, alter them, and stuff for non-commercial purposes, so to speak. So that's part of the project. So I want to set standards for this that I hope that others in the Greyhawk community can use as well, for people that want to, bloggers and stuff like that. So anyone who wants to use my maps and the other stuff that goes with it on Twitch shows and blog posts and stuff can just do it. All they need to do is just credit me, and they can even make their own version of them and so on. So that's
if they have 20 years.
Well, no, that's a good thing. They probably need 2 years and then a good machine to do it, so to speak. And I want to use a lot of open source tools in order to, like QGIS, and you can use GIMP and stuff like that. So you don't need to have expensive software to do it.
Right.
So that's the basic
question,
so to speak. Coming in.
Steven, you have a question for Alyssa and Anna? Might as well round table some questions here.
Round table some questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let me think, because this is a cartography show, and I have so little to do with cartography in the company that we recently hired a fellow, I guess about 8-9 months ago, Bill Edmonds, and he's redoing our maps because if you've looked at the TLG products over the past 22 years, there's a serious evolution of maps, and for a long period in the center there, Peter created a template where he could just chop things out. He's not a cartographer like Elisa and Anna are, but he can do decent maps if he's given time. But I gave him no time, so he would just chop things up and put stuff out, and it's very functional, sort of like the old, AD&D stuff, but it's not quite artistic, which is what I would prefer. Like Elisa did for those who don't know, she did the map, the Lost City of Gagsmore map, and it is one of the best maps we've ever published. And when you get into that map, and Elisa can tell us more about it, but you're talking about zooming in, you can zoom in. I can't remember, was it the amphitheater has a broken chariot in it and a guy laying on the ground. That type of detail, I think, when it's added to a map, I don't know, it enhances play so very, very, very much when cartographers take that extra step, especially when you're looking at the way the internet or the computers, I should say, allows us to zoom in on things. Because in the old days, of course, there was no zooming in. You couldn't see anything that was, what are you talking about? 50 feet per pixel or something?
Jay has an example. I put an example in. So show Altamira overview first.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an overview map where you see all the 3,600 square miles. That's 62.5 or something like that miles on each side of that map over the area. There is a little red little square in the middle there.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's a little red square, little rectangle.
No forest in us yet. No forest.
Exactly. This is just splat map, shaded splat map.
Yes,
so it's not proper texture.
See, Steven's the kumquat producer, and that's the
Are
most important thing of all. We have kumquats on the kumquat tree now. So this whole area over here will be the Twilight Forest. A lot of Twilight Forest over here. Right.
So that, look at that square. This is a low resolution, but that little rectangle. Now you show Altamira detail. That is that area in there in shown in full resolution. So that, and zoom in on that one. And you can see that is that area in full resolution. I have all the 3,600 miles. When that is properly
I don't see the kumquat.
Yeah, so you can see it's 5 feet per pixel. So when you zoom in that one and it's properly textured, that will look kind of cool. So
I'm looking for the flat area where the city's going on this map. Adam.
Oh, that is not on that map. I took it a little bit on the side because there's still some. Yeah, because when I put the wrong river texture of lakes and rivers, so that looks kind of funny a bit. So I took an area that didn't have any of those errors out because I need to. And that was just my problem when I saved it. I saved the wrong one. So it's just the little rivers and stuff, they fade out and fade in a bit. So that was just an issue because I need to render it in tiles. So there's render one bit and the other, and the overlap is 6%, and there's some issues with the overlap. So I re-rendered it with 12%. Now it's much better, and I just need to filter those errors out, and we're good, so to speak. So I just took one area that didn't have the errors, so it's more the final quality.
I have a question. I have a question for both of you all. So today I was working on the Codex of the Plains, and as I was writing, some of it was just coming to me, and I was changing the text as I was writing it. Literally I didn't have, and nothing was planned. I just kind of rolled this off on the page, and it was kind of nice to let it flow like that. So I know how insanely important water is to any terrain.
Yeah.
Whether it's city, town, mountain, whatever you're drawing. So when you're drawing something like this, and when you're going into detail of rivers, lakes, ponds, and whatnot, do you find yourself, are you kind of, and this is for both of you, are you pre-planning what the water is going to do, where there's going to be a lake, pond, or river, or are you kind of going with the way your pen or your quill is going as you're designing the map?
Go first, Alyssa.
You add a pond here, or no, I want to move this river over here. There's a creek here. Is it more organic or is it more planned? I guess that's the question.
I think there's a level of both. I definitely plan out a lot of the geographic features of my map, without a doubt. And I'll even plan out certain major roads, etc. But there's a level of looking at it, does it feel right? I actually did this on the Krakenheim map recently, and I've got some videos out there on it. You've got to sort of figure out, okay, so, and this is where the planning comes in. I'm drawing Krakenheim, like where is Krakenheim positioned? It's positioned on a river estuary or close to a river estuary. It's on the east side of it. But that type of thing, I think you have to plan, right? And it's like, where is my sort of river flowing? How wide is my river if we're going to do that type of thing? And I did all of that. And then it didn't feel right to me. There was something off about it, and it niggled at me for several days. And I ended up coming back in and sort of redrawing it. So in the same spirit of, but it felt better. And so at that point, it starts to become a little bit more organic. And the more I then get down into the details, like I will plan out the main road from the east side to the west side in Krakenheim, and I'll be thinking about how this would work, what would the flow of traffic and the mercantile goods and that type of thing. But the more I then get past that, I don't know, I'm not plan out too. I want temples here. I want the main longhouse to be here. And that type of thing has to be planning, right? But then the minute I start to deviate off the main roads, like everything that's just happened around that longhouse that Jay had up on the screen, that was organic. That was just, I've got an audio book going in the background, and I'm just drawing what feels right and what the sort of general personality that I want to have in this part of the city, So, and the more I zoom in, the more organic it starts to get for me.
Well, if you go back, what I just love, I mean, look at the detail here on the Wantham. Look at all the, you got the lumber in the water.
Yep.
I'm going to say this, guys, and I don't mean to be big-headed, but I'm self-assured a little bit like Michael Flatley would be, and it's like Lord of the Dance. I'm going to create my best freaking maps ever doing these Greyhawk things. I'm going to put love into every single one. There was planning on the Wantham map for, it is an industry. It is a logging industry. I want to be able to capture that somehow. I wanted to have this almost London-esque style dock yards going because I wanted it to feel industrial. That's the planning side of it.
I love the
but then the more you sort of get down into some of the weeds, so to speak, then it gets organic. I mean, Gaxmore, Stephen referenced Gaxmore earlier on. One of the funnest maps I've ever worked on, by the way, and I seriously mean that. there was planning because there are certain buildings. I mean, this thing's got canon. It already exists as a product, right? So I have to capture the shape. I have to capture the main POIs. After that, though, man, I am off script. I'm doing bathhouses with the little tiny mosaics in the bottom of the baths. I've got a dead guy at the bloody bottom of the amphitheater. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go nuts. Stephen, to answer your question from my side, it's a balance depending on kind of what scale and what sort of subject matter of the map I'm sort of hitting. But the deeper I get into the map too, like the longer the time goes on, planning at the beginning, now I'm off script after that.
It sounds a lot like writing if you didn't have a word count limit. Because I feel like when you're writing, you start with the big story or the big picture. And then when you get into a room, you start describing stuff, and that's often slow, random stuff. And if we could keep going from a 10,000 word manuscript to a 100,000 word manuscript to a 1,000,000 word manuscript, we would write about every single log that's floating in the water and every single dead guy that's in the alleys or whatever. But so you're sort of, because you're limited by time, obviously, rather than space, right? You've got what your space is, and it's a matter of how much time you're spending. Whereas in the writing, it's the word count that is going to keep blowing out. So that's sort of interesting to think about, is the mapping as a writing exercise.
You're right. And I think there is this sort of, you have to sort of almost give yourself this framework, right? Like, what am I doing is the biggest thing. And then what are my sections? What do I need to make sure
and then when do I stop?
In this? And then when am I going to stop? Absolutely. And there's a level of that too. I mean, I'm not going to talk for Anna, but definitely for myself, there is a level of when am I going to stop? Like on the Krakenheim map, and we'll take a look at that a little bit later in the show. I'm drawing axes embedded in wooden, like tree stumps near a wood pile, right? And honestly, I get off on this shit, guys. I genuinely do.
And we enjoy it. I mean, it's awesome.
I've got all of the little roof details of like some carved head with the horns coming off it and that type of jazz. Because that's what the map needs. Now, did I then just like keep going and going and going? No, because there is that equivalent of a word count. And it's not even necessarily time bound at that point, but to a degree it is. I mean, for me, like I knew I wanted to be done with ink work end of November. I want to give it to my patrons end of November, which I did. So it's a little bit like word count in that sense. It's like, this is my size map. This is my DPI. This is what I want to do. And I'm just going to pour in a stupid amount of details on this MFA right now. But I have a deadline. This is it. And it's a little bit like your word count. It's that framework. It's that box that keeps me honest.
And also, if the only way you want to get this color copy of this, you got to be in Alyssa's Patreon, correct?
Yeah, correct.
That's it. So you got to be a Patreon member to get this.
There'll be a low-res version of the Earth Journal.
Right.
They will have a print in. Well, actually, they'll have a print in the Earth Journal. They'll have a low-res version on Greyhawk Online. But yeah, no, I gave out the PSDs to this guy, so you get the full-on version that just is nowhere else. And I'm going to keep doing that too. And every quarter, there will be another one of these released, and I'll just keep throwing in the old ones too. So if you join up, you get everything. Okay.
Yeah. So Anna's mastered her Patreon. We need to get Alyssa's Patreon up a little bit more, everyone. You know what I'm saying?
It's nudging up. Good. I've got to be very appreciative to my current patrons.
Good.
My pricing structure is a little bit different than Anna's. And I've got some patrons at the $25 level. Cool. Quite a few at the $25 level, and I just huge love for that. Huge love.
Awesome.
So I will always, I think, have less patrons. I guess I'm a greedy bastard, but it's definitely been. I'm feeling the love.
That was a quote, wasn't it, Stephen?
Yeah. What is that from?
Wall Street. Greed is good.
I love that. The
Gordon Gekko. Yep.
I can't stop watching that.
Okay. So
I need to answer this because I think this is the best question I've ever heard on any fantasy mapping show. I just have to say it, Stephen. This question is for me. So this is so cool because this is something that I've been both struggling with and being preaching and being yelling and screaming at the people that make 3D terrain tools and stuff, because rivers flow downhill and they need to make sense and they merge together. They don't branch out. Normally there are exceptions, but those are my weird fantasy, meaning there are kind of, if you follow the basic laws of nature and stuff, and if fantasy worlds, for the most part, rivers flow downhill and they kind of merge together and become bigger and then flow out in the ocean. So it's just like real rivers. They usually do that even in fantasy worlds. So this is a real interesting issue. And just like with Alyssa, it's a bit, because when you work with the world that kind of exists, in the sense that it's published material, there are reference text and reference maps and stuff. So to some degree, I need to get the big rivers and the big lakes and stuff in the right spot, and the big elevation, meaning their hills in this area are supposed to be hillier than the plains next to it, etc. And that means that rivers need to follow those basic guidelines that comes from the text and from previous maps. And that is what makes it hard, because there are a lot of cool tools that would just randomly create a fantastic world for you. The problem comes when you want that random cool world to look like Greyhawk, Forgotten Realms, Dragonlance, or whatever world you want it to look like. Tolkien's Middle-earth. That's the problem. And that's the huge problem. There are tools that can do random stuff that looks cool for the whole world. There is also stuff that can do things really locally for like video games and stuff. When you cheat, the mountains that are in the distance, they're always in the distance. You can't really, it's not up to scale and stuff. So say you have to cheat in order to get the right amount of resources in a game level and stuff. And but I want to map the thing as it should be, at the real scale, real length, and real elevations and stuff. And that is the tricky bit, because you can't do the whole world in one go, and the program only recognizes the little area you work with. So you have to make the calculations and kind of coax one area to fit into the next one. That's why it's so much better to do larger areas, because that means that you have a bigger bathtub when things are actually flowing the right way, so to speak. So the bigger you get it, the better it becomes, because you save yourself a lot of work down the line, because stitching things together is half of my job, so to speak, to do it.
It makes it a lot more difficult. And I do think that, I shouldn't say this, I suspect that a lot of people don't grasp the insane importance and impact that water has on everything. On Earth. And that would certainly carry over into a fantasy world. If you're trying to, now, I'm writing this Codex of the Plains, and there's going to be rivers in it that do not act in any way, shape, or form, because it's a material world. But it's something that you're like Aird, you definitely want those rivers, lakes, whatever it is, to have purpose.
And one of my pet projects I want to do for in the future will be to map the river Styx, because that's when you can go off on more than one limb. Meaning that's a river they can do crazy stuff that no river in the real world does, which can be awesome fun. So when I'm
taking that river and I'm weaving it through most of these plains in one capacity or another. Sometimes it doesn't even look like a river, but the river.
You can have cool stuff that because then all of a sudden you don't have a spherical planet anymore. You have plains that can have any shape. And that can open up for some really cool stuff. So I'm looking into, Blender has some really cool stuff that makes a lot of that. Blender plus terrains plus some other features make it procedural stuff in that comes into Blender and into the new version of Unreal, makes this possibilities are now opened up immensely. And the game engines can now do 88 million kilometers. That's like 60 million miles from one end to the other. That's probably enough even for Styx. So you can do cool stuff, so to speak. So before you were always limited, technologically limited. Those limitations are now quickly disappearing. So now it's more like creativity and how you want to express yourself technically and artistically that is starting to come forefront. So the creative side of things, and that's where I want to be. And we have some examples, Jay. If you have the Altamira texture things I put in, there is like 5 of them that shows a little bit what this will look like on the Altamira map. This is primitive texture, only one grass texture and a little bit of rock texture, and
Right,
then
this is the
some
first-
some
It's number
yeah.
2. Oh no, there's a 1 before
Yeah.
that. I didn't see it.
So zoom in. This is very primitive
Okay.
look at what the landscape will look like, so to speak, seen from halfway out in space. So this is only 1/10 the resolution. So it's going to be 10 times higher resolution, and you can see, and those
Here's that.
blue areas are they're supposed to be wetlands, but they now, thanks to me just testing out the textures, so that everything that is flat enough here is just wetland, so to speak, apart from the ones, and the river texture is kind of just weird mud, and that's going to be textured much differently in the future. So it's very, very basic, and go to some of the other ones because they're even better. I think you can see a little bit more.
Okay, there's 2. Let me get a
Mhm.
3.
That looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so we can see, and this
That's
is
straight
not
above.
lighted. Eventually we will bring into Blender or something and do proper lighting. We can do landscape pictures, and there's no trees, no vegetation or stuff. That will be there too. Buildings and stuff will be there
Look
too
at above
eventually
the
too.
flow down from the highlands into
Yeah.
the waterways.
And
yeah.
the thing is that here we have real waterways, so to speak, meaning they are logically following the terrain, and they are where they're supposed to be, and lakes and stuff. And some of these lakes and rivers will be turned into wetlands, bogs, swamps, and stuff like that too. So we will have more meandering in and stuff, but the elevation and stuff here, I think, yeah,
Wow,
here you can see a little bit
that's
better
amazing.
shading and stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
I
So
can
here
tell you, as a even game designer aside, but as a gamer, I eat this stuff up because I use terrain in my games like it's nobody's business. I use it constantly. My terrain is as much an encounter as monsters are. So
Yep.
see a map that is just
Well, that-
Yeah,
so-
he decide which hilltop you want to have your castle, or which pass the orcs will lay an ambush and stuff like that. So,
That's
yeah.
the great thing about the location where Altamira is going to be, with the mountains on one, the
Mhm.
river, all the tributaries, and then the Twilight
Yeah.
Forest. It's got
Mhm.
all the different.
You have
except for an
Altamira
ocean.
there. Yeah, it's in the picture. Altamira location is in the picture there. No, not that one.
Not
Go,
this
go
one.
north. No, go
I can't-
northeast a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
A little
Oh,
bit to the right, and there you go. It's a little bit of you have the lake, and right to it.
right here.
No, a little bit. There you go.
Oh, okay. There it is.
That's
it.
that's the
That's it,
plateau
because that's
for
the plateau.
Altamira.
Wow. How
Mhm.
high is this above ground? 30 miles?
No, it's not. It depends on. You mean over sea level?
Yeah. How?
It's
no,
probably about
looking down.
500-600 feet.
This is
Oh,
The
you mean-
airplane,
yeah.
the
you mean-
airplane
you
or the
mean-
land?
It's
Yeah.
probably a couple of 100 feet around on the other side. I can go in and measure it when we have a render.
No,
with
I
full
meant how
resolution.
far above are you looking down on this?
Oh, okay. Well, that is a couple of miles. That's
That's
several
what I
miles
thought.
away.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
because
Okay.
that thing across is probably a mile and a half or
Okay.
two across. So yeah.
Number 5.
Yep. So there are some more angles and stuff.
Yeah,
On
so
it's the
this is it.
same
This is
terrain.
it right
so,
here.
Yeah.
That's
Yep,
it right there.
mhm.
Okay, now I got it.
And
Now
look,
I got it.
and looking up in the valley, you see the lake and
Yeah.
stuff. And I put in, so now the lakes have a depth texture too. So the color blue differs according to. So it's just I just put in the basic blue just to see if the input is right, so to speak. And then eventually it will be about 10 different textures. There's 2, one grass and one rock texture. There will be probably 4 grass textures. There will be bushes, trees, agriculture areas, sand, gravel, bogs, yeah, and stuff like that. So I'm sorting through them, and when I do each texture, once I have all the textures, I will render the area in each texture, and then I can just sit in Photoshop and say, well, we want a bog here, and we want everything that has certain slope to be rocky, or each area that has certain, because you have erosion masks, so you can say that area has rock fall coming down and stuff like that. So that part artistic and just part rendered using fractals and stuff. And then we have a top-down map that will look, I think, really cool. And then we can, yeah.
What's
and
really
we can
cool
have-
about this
Yeah.
outside too, Stephen, is that you're going to have, like, up in these the mountainous area here, we're going to have some estates out here, right? So we're going to have stuff outside the city too,
Yeah.
which I think will be cool to expand on. On
Yeah,
it.
we
Yeah,
can
I
see
love
the
it.
ci- oh,
Go
go on.
ahead.
if you zoom in on that map again, and this is what I love as a CK and GM, like that little
Hey, Craig.
range to the left of the lake there, you've got
This.
two mountains, a cleft. It's over to the left, kind of a cleft between these two hills. that type of stuff right there is absolute gold for me, because I can see where the characters are going, where they're going left or right, how steep it's going to be, what kind of moss is going to be there, what time of day it is, where the sunlight is spilling, where there's going to be shade, all kinds of stuff. That stuff is absolute gold.
And so right in this area down here, Kumquat Groves.
Yeah, exactly. We put agriculture area.
That's what that's why it was founded there. One of the reasons. So yeah, it's going in. This is the southern spur of the Lord Mill Mountains.
Exactly.
Right? So you know, and it was, and now it's what's the mountains? Oh my God, Stephen, what are the mountains right there?
I believe it's the Bald Mountains.
Yeah, it's
the Norling.
Yep, there you go. Like I said, it fits really well in, and on this side down here, you're gonna have Twilight Forest down in this area. I mean, just So it's
then we have the swamps there, the river.
Yeah, and it is
a lot of that
is
open
too.
Yeah, and some of the higher areas are blue. That will be grass and forest and stuff. And then the river itself will be converted. A lot of it will be bogs and swampland, and then there will be like a meandering river in the middle and stuff. So that is some of the Photoshop work that I will tweak in afterwards. But the water level there is flat, so to speak, and then the terrain around, and it has the right elevation and stuff. So so you can actually get it. Yeah,
Elisa, I want you to help me remember when we work on our secret project, which we hopefully can start in January. I'm gonna put a kumquat tree in the first area.
That's awesome. Yep.
I mean, this is for the Altamira box set and all. That Anna's been working on. We got a lot. So this is the new technology that Anna's used it for Shieldlands, but I mean, it's going.
Oh
to the next
I've
level.
started. I have about
machine.
1,000 square miles in Shieldlands that I've been doing here to figure out how to do it, so to speak. That I've been working on for. I've been working with this technology for 10 years. I've used it for the Midgard maps for Kobold Press. They are all used this technology, but not to this level. There are a lot of cheating and working around, because then you're on a time budget, and we only had so many months to do it, and the resolution is basically about a pixel per mile. So then now this map is 5 feet per pixel.
Are these flat Earth maps, or are these roughly spherical maps?
These are actually flat. So what I need to do, that's why I can't do too much in one area. So what I will do, bring them in the GIS and then tweak them so they will put them on the sphere. So I will project them.
You'll project
them,
unproject them onto the sphere, and then cool.
Yep. So they will be projected. There will be proper DEM, digital elevation model. So I will take this and take the height data and convert it to a proper DEM, or GeoTIFF will probably be the format, but those the same thing. And then project it, and then take the texture and project that, and then put the geographical data like roads, buildings, and stuff like that.
Having some sheen one-page inserts like you used to have in those old box sets of these. I mean, I just think it's going to
we're going to buy the globe.
That's
in southern Maine, outside of Freeport, I think they still claim it is either the largest globe or the largest moving globe. And it's, I don't remember. I'm going to say it's like 30-foot diameter, something like that. It's the Delorme map headquarters. And we're getting there. I can see this fantasy world coming into a nice 10-foot globe in a gaming room somewhere. That'd be pretty awesome.
And one of the cool things with using the basic technology like this is that I get the data that can be used to make PDFs, top-down images for print and for digital use in 2D VTTs and stuff. But it's also data that can be used in GIS for proper GIS maps that are georeferenced and can be seen in real 3D like Google Maps and stuff. And the same data can also be imported into game engines, and that opens up a whole new range of possibilities. So that's the idea with this, is that the data that comes out should be used for a whole variety. It's like I always liken it with a rule system. It's not a pretty picture. It's the base data that you will use a whole range of products. Like a rule system is not something you make for one product. It's something you make for a game, for a whole range of products down the line, so to speak. So this is more to it's not one map, it's more like a rule system in that sense, that is something to be used for over and over to generate little city maps, country maps, world maps, and so on.
And then
Jay,
go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a brilliant idea, and I'm going to forget about this. So let's try to remember this.
Let's get it recorded. Hit that record
Yeah, exactly.
button.
It is recorded.
Let's get it recorded. So for the free City of Altamira, now I have seen these about 2 or 3 years ago. I'm sure someone still makes them, but you know those maps that you can purchase that are kind of 3D maps. They show the elevation. You can run your finger across it and feel it. We need to do that for the free City of Altamira.
Oh my gosh!
It's
got to be a
looked into
Kickstarter
it.
goal, right?
Yeah, I've looked. I've looked into it because I wanted it to do for my maps for years. There is a company that is in somewhere up in Fresno area, I think. They make these for museums. They have a really cool setup where they take a special type of plastic foam that is hard, and they have a CNC machine that can drill out after you put in a DEM and they drill it out. And they also have a special inkjet printer that sprays the texture on top of it. They do it for museums and stuff. The problem is that they cost from 10 grand upwards, so to speak. So
I feel like those the thin plastic ones that are heat formed.
That's the other thing.
Probably more in the
the problem is that the first one probably cost five grand,
right.
and then they cost 2 cents afterwards because those are formed. So right, make one cost they cost an enormous amount of money to make one, and then they're cheap to produce afterwards. There is another
a great stretch reward.
Yeah, but there is another solution that is really cool. I found another company, I think they're in Norway, and I saw him at SIGGRAPH. He had an exposition. He uses a 3D printer. Their 3D printer is nothing new. Meaning 3D printers have been around, but you want a 3D printer that can do true color. Because in order to do the texture properly. And what he had is it's a kind of sand that he mixed with a kind of resin and sprays with inkjet into it. So he can insert blend any color, so to speak. And he can make small ones that are probably about 5 by 5 inches or something like that. And they cost about $50 or $60 each. And he had small ones of famous areas in the world. And I asked him, like, oh, can I just send you a DEM or something and texture? And he said, well, we can look into it. And I have his email address. So that type of printing technology is still very expensive, and so but the price is coming down.
Next year.
Exactly. The price is coming down. So I'm pretty sure that you can print bigger ones much cheaper very soon. So I'm keeping a lookout for true color 3D printing, and that's still rare and kind of experimental, but it's getting there. I saw one that is actually using stacked paper. So they basically put like a whole bunch of papers and then cut it out using a little CNC thingy, and that's another solution. So there is a whole bunch, because we are not the only ones who want 3D full color printing. It's coming, and so in a few years that will be definitely a possibility.
So of course we got to take it up a level, right? So Anna's going to do all this and get all that and have wonderful things set up for the city, and then Alyssa because we're going to smash all the Kickstarter goals, right, Stephen? Right? Alyssa's going to do Altamira in her style, right? So we have that, right? So we have that too, and
that's the good man.
Yeah,
that would be a fantastic stretch.
And then my friend Jeremy at Gamescape 3D, talking about 3D printing, is going to 3D print buildings that are key to the city and surrounding, and he's going to set them up and render them in 3D for another thing, so that we actually have, for those of us wonderful people out there with printers, are going to actually get some of the actual locations in full 3D, because it'll be available in the 3D printer.
Yeah, this is going to be an amazing Kickstarter.
It is. I'm so excited. And now that I'm free and clear of all my bindings there, Stephen, man, it was a rough. I was in Texas 3 days, man. It was a rough, man. I'm so free now. I got to make every use of every minute now, it seems. But yeah, so that's the wonderful thing, and that's why I'm so excited about the whole project, because it's bringing in together all the great minds here that we have on this show, and it's some wonderful. With your direction, I think we can really make this a home run. And we'll throw Chuck in there too. Chuck will serve some purpose.
Of course. That always works.
So listen, let's take a look at the next. Let's do it. You want to look at Krakenheim, everyone? You want to look at the latest map here? Yeah, let's do it. Let's look. So I've been teasing this a little bit, and this is all right. So and we showed the Longhouse. So what we got going on here?
All right, so Krakenheim, obviously Frost Barbarians, right? I've got some videos I released on this, but the elevator speech version is I mean, we've got a city. Now it's 4,000 people, so it's smaller than Wantham, but it is a city basically on the east side of a river. So it starts to echo some of the Wantham qualities. So I wanted to deviate away from that. I didn't want to have the same sort of city back to back. You got a pretty low resolution version there, Jay. I gave you the high res version.
This is the one you gave me.
And moving on. So what I wanted to do, there's a couple of things here. One is Anna was very kind and sort of furnished me with some real life digs and things like that are going on. Actual sort of Viking city sort of recreation that's going on. And I drew a lot of inspiration from these sources. So some highlights of this is you'll see there's less docks in this than our typical medieval sort of city, because I want to have that sensation that they drag their long ships up onto shore, right?
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of that. I do have docks in the northwest corner because instead of having a bridge going over the close to the river estuary, I didn't want to lock down how wide this river is. I wanted to leave that open. I wanted to imply that it could be quite wide. And I also, honestly, I didn't want, like behind me, you can see I've got the Wantham Bridge. I didn't want yet another bridge going on. And I figured these guys are comfortable on water. They'll ferry goods to and fro on water.
Yep.
So I've got this little sort of loading, unloading area. And so I gotta, I mean, if this is a Frost Barbarian sort of pseudo-Nordic Viking settlement, gotta draw the ships. So I've got the ships drawn in.
Yeah,
I've got the boats on there.
Shipbuilding.
Get little dockyard. And I've got, by the way, I've got little tables with saws and hammers on them drawn on this thing. You can get way, way, way in on it. And then some of the actual buildings too, you'll notice now, I didn't do this with all of them, but if you actually look at a lot of the sort of Viking sort of settlements, some of the rooftops, they can literally just be covered in actual the flora on them. Like they'll have grass rooftops on the top for insulation, right? But then there's some of them that will actually be quite highly decorative. So I went out looking at all sorts of different types of artwork of Viking settlements, specifically rooftops. So I got a nice variation of different types of rooftops. I've got the little sort of details of a carving at the end with horns or wings coming off it. I've got, you'll notice there's a lack of chimneys, but there's a lot of openings, covered openings on these. And we'll take a look at the coloring in progress on this, but it's going to come through. Okay, there's going to be lots of wood roofs. There'll be a little bit of slate. This is the capital after all, and lots and lots of green roofs. And now one sort of design consideration here too, or coloring consideration, is we want this to feel cold, but I don't want the whole map to be white. Right. And I don't want a frozen river. So this will be cold. This will feel frosty. This will have snow like in certain areas, but there'll be paths work through the snow. There'll be little patches of green here and there, lots of green and wooden rooftops, are getting sort of colored in. And the pens too. You know what I love about this map? Looking at Viking Nordic settlements, how they had the cattle pens and the animal pens right close to their houses, right? Which I think gives it a real nice, strong distinction from a lot of our high fantasy sort of medieval sort of cities. So I've captured that here. And then I was looking at some like modern sort of settlements and reenactments. And as you go out towards the walls, this sort of stockade wall, like they have their farms and everything inside the settlements, inside the wall. And I was like, that gives Krakenheim personality. So we're doing it. That, by the way, that gatehouse, that was off one of the actual settlement reenactments that's in real life right now. So there's photographs from all sorts of different sides. So I was like, cool. I'm drawing it. I'm drawing that gatehouse. If they say it's legit, it's going in the map.
That's cool.
I had fun. There's almost every single detail of this map is sourced off some kind of reference material. The layout of it, the buildings, the rooftop styles.
Is this a standing stones?
Standing stones here. That one's I copied that off Stonehenge.
Okay.
Or what Stonehenge would have been if it was all standing.
Yeah.
But I kind of thought, for a temple-like area for these guys, why does it have to be a building? Maybe it is standing stones, for these, kind of get that almost barbaric feel in here. And there's 2 sets of standing stones on this map. There's 2 mini longhouses because I figured that they would maybe be significant buildings. And then there's the 1 actual high fantasy longhouse.
Yeah.
And the coloring on this is already beginning to show the different elevations. This thing's just going to kick ass. It's going to be ridiculous.
It's huge. It's cool. Really.
That's obviously where the footy team plays.
Where the Jarl is.
Oh, come on, that's the World Cup stadium right there. It's easy.
Yeah,
wow,
it's really cool.
This is going to be kick out, and I'm gonna have this done like this month. Okay, Alex is my colorist, and she will have this done this month, and it will just drop dead.
She says gorgeous. Forcefully.
It will. I want it out towards the end of the month, the beginning of next month to my patrons. Like I say, every quarter I want a new one releasing. Another thing I love about Krakenheim too, just going off reference materials, you'll notice no moat. And it puzzled me for a while. Why would there not be a moat? Mm-hmm. And I came up with a theory, like they're just ditches. Why would they just not connect it with the river and just have a moat? Well, maybe because it freezes.
Yeah.
Now you have nothing. People are just going to walk straight over the thing. And I thought, well, yeah, okay, that, at least in my head, that makes sense. So just got these protective ditches going around. And I think that's another thing that will make Krakenheim really stand out from your other sort of typical settlement maps that we see. I mean, look at this stockade that goes out into the water. That to me is also very, very distinctive. A lot of personality in this place.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful.
Very cool.
Yep, indeed.
And this is the second of the Greyhawk maps here that's being worked on, which is really fantastic.
Everyone, man, I'm going to just go nuts on all of these. I'm just going to do so much detail, so much love, so much personality. I want every Greyhawk map I touch to be very distinct, to have its own screaming personality, And this is a prime example. I mean, we've got a town on the east side of a river. Wompham is a town, a city on the east side of a river, and look how different the two of them are. And that's what it's all about. I want you to be able to look at this map and go, hey, it's Krakenheim, and want to play in it, And I think this definitely has that quality.
So Mac asks how deep the ditches are, and do they have anti-ladder stuff? Probably not, right? They probably just did 15 feet.
The ditches are 5,000 feet deep.
15.
It's just an illusion of grass, and you step into it. And you fall down.
You just keep falling forever.
Yep.
No, from what I saw on reference materials, there was no anti-ladder devices. The ditches just looked about 15 feet deep, something like that. They were more just they would impede any sort of attack attempt. Yeah. The stockade going through the water too was from some reference materials that I found, and I share all of this, by the way, on my Patreon, and on YouTube, if you want to sort of see what those reference materials are. But I look at this and I'm like, yeah, okay, so Krakenheim's only 4,000 people, but it looks pretty damn defensive to me. It's you can't come at this from any angle, and I really like it. It's it makes me want to play a Frost Barbarian up here.
I've often wondered how often ladders were actually used to scale walls in a medieval battle, because it would be very
in the First Crusade, Stephen. I read this. I don't know how true it is, but I read it. So the First Crusade, apparently they got to their first Muslim city and they didn't have ladders. They had forgotten to bring ladders, and I'm like, I didn't even think about that. So I can imagine a small little army sitting outside the city saying, did you bring the ladders? No, I thought you brought the ladders. Well, what are we going to do now?
Damn it, Darren, you were supposed to bring them.
Catapult everyone in. Yeah. Wow.
I think walls, fortifications like that in before the age of cannon and gunfire, they were actually really good, so to speak. That's why they were built so often, because they actually were very effective defense. There were very few that was actually, most of them were not breached or taken in by force. That's why you lay a siege and you waited them out, you starved them out. That was the normal thing, not storming the walls. And a lot of them.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say the siege and treason. Those were the two ways you got in, so to speak. You bribed your way in, or you used politics or other means, so to speak, to get access, or you simply starved them into submission. Those were, I think, the two most common way of actually getting into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that mostly it's siege, and you do have some that get stormed, but even then, I wonder if it's stormed through. Bringing a wall down. I mean, putting a ladder up against a wall and going up in chainmail.
When someone shoot at you with crossbow bolts and hot oil and rocks.
Hot oil's the one that would get.
Yeah.
Hell, just going up on the side of my house to hang the Christmas tree lights was hard enough. I can't imagine doing it in chainmail and throwing a rock at me.
Yeah. But on the other hand, a lot of people have done a lot of scary stuff in war and simply sacrificed themselves. So it's probably not unheard of, but I don't think it was the normal method of capturing a castle. Yeah.
Trolls are the best, Matt, because they regenerate. Catapulting trolls.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. In fantasy world, we have a lot of other things. Meaning we have magic, we have flying creatures, we have all sorts of other means, which means that you have to start thinking about constructing your castles and your city defenses slightly different in order to facilitate defend yourself against.
I wove into the world of air. Fortifications are always built with rune marks involved. And the rune marks actually cast magics into the stonework to protect it against a barrage of fireballs. Because at the end of the day, earthquake or whatever spell they're going to cast is really going to mess up your fortifications.
I invented
is that protective rune?
Yes.
Okay.
It gives it a basic magic resistance against these.
Cool.
Yeah, and I invented for my Shieldlands campaign, I set up what I call dragon chains. Those are chains with hooks and stuff that you put far away enough that the dragon can't fly in and use its breath effectively. So you keep them at bay using that. And if they want to come in and land on the structure, they will get tangled up in that they're like chains with fishing hooks and stuff on it. So and then you can use like a lightning bolt spell or something like that and put that through stuff. So that was one. I have a couple of other ideas that I'm going to write up for the future on fantasy-esque defenses that I want to be both effective and fantasy styled stuff, so to speak.
I think that's a great idea. That would be actually a great reference book. And and Steve, get on it, guys. Like the modern, like what would fantasy defenses look like? I mean, Stephen, you mentioned just having sigils in the walls, like, or on the walls.
Yep.
Like some people wouldn't think about that, having the anti-dragon chains with the hawks.
Davis is just so y'all know, in the Adventurer's Armory, that's one of the chapters that he spilled over in. He's creating this, just kind of a basic so people will have something to work with. Because at the end of the day, dragons and the bullet, all these things would just destroy. There'd be no reason to build a wall.
Exactly. And
that's true.
You just come in under or whatever, fly over it.
And I want my fantasy to have the classic tropes of knights in shining armor and castles and stuff. I just need to tweak it so they make sense, so to speak. So that's the idea. So I want it to be logical from its own perspective, meaning it should be a good idea. If I want castles, it should be a good idea mechanically and thematically to actually build them. And that means that I have to tweak the rules and what's possible and come up with cool kind of ideas that fit in with the theme. That's the goal. But I want to take real principles, meaning, okay, we have aerial threats. What kind of defenses will we use against big monsters that can come in en masse? What do we use to defend them? What are the area defense, the ranged defense and stuff? And how would someone like I use, they have a capital of an empire. What would be their city defenses that in order to stop an oncoming horde of everything from magic users to dragons to whatever to come in and conquer it. So I have some ideas that I've taken real world inspiration, but try to make a fantasy version of it that fits thematically. That's my
and
idea.
that definitely goes both ways. At least I joked earlier that ditch is 5,000 feet deep. Well, if you had an illusionist cast an illusion on the ditch that is, whatever hundreds of feet deep, and people tell their illusion saying they fall down in the grass and writhe around.
Yep. And I can another example that I used in my Gibbering Gate. I used to call the undead, so prisoners, and put them in the moat. So there's like thousands of skeletons and zombies and whatever, and they are actually the bodies of the prisoners. So he imprisons the souls and the spirits inside and put them. So if you want to liberate someone, you have to find the body outside, and then you have to find the soul inside, and that can get tricky when there's like 2,000 other ones, or 3,000 or 4,000 something, and they're all hungry and they want souls. Yeah.
That fellow's really mastering his resources. He gets to eat the soul, then he takes the body, turns it into a zombie to defend
exactly.
his
That's the resources. And I can definitely see old Flan evil Witch King cultures to use the deads as a resource to defend the village and the kingdom.
Nasty.
So that's why you animate the dead ones, and in order to turn them into defensive resources. I can definitely see that in a world of undead. If you don't have any moral qualms, I think that will be a sure. You wouldn't bury them with tombstones. You will animate them, keep them in the
they should be
basement
doing the farming also.
Exactly. So fantasy.
Put them to work.
Yeah, meaning fantasy open up some interesting possibilities that if you treat it right, it could be really cool thematically, I think. Right. And it could be part of different cultures and stuff to use different things differently. So yeah.
Plenty of bodies to go around there, Mac, in the world of E is. But really cool.
Yeah.
So Edwin, you've been quiet the last like 20 minutes, man.
Yeah.
You're just soaking all this in.
I am. I've been really enjoying myself. As I said, I'm super excited to watch the show from the inside instead of from the outside.
Now, Edwin did give us some maps prior to the show.
Yeah.
Jay, do we have them somewhere?
Yes. I have. Looks like I have 4 of them. So
just so everyone has some context, we asked Jay. I'm not sure if we did this with Stephen, but we did ask Jay if he had any. Edwin, if we had any maps that he particularly liked. And so we're going to take a look at these together, and Edwin can tell us why he likes these maps.
So I think I have to start by admitting, letting on that I'm a civil engineer, and so the whole GIS mapping world is adjacent to my professional, non-gaming professional world, as well as my gaming professional world. But the thing, so this has been going around for a while. This is Napoleon's failed attempt on Moscow, and it starts in I guess it's sort of a bronze color with the size. So the width of that line is the size of his army as he marches north into the winter, and then as he turns around and comes back. And so we're having chronology. We're having, you're looking at this map, and as you start reading it, you're thinking, you start thinking about starvation. You start thinking about actual fighting. You start thinking about frostbite and cold, and there's just it's just 2 lines. I mean, that's all it is. It's there and back.
Yep.
And there's so much story and information, both factual and sort of narrative in this map. And I think that's why I really like it. It's just a neat take on a map.
Yep. Okay. I love it. It's so cool.
Okay. Yeah, it's brilliant. It gives me goosebumps, man. I mean, I'm a military historian. I love that type of thing. Yeah. I want that map framed up on a wall. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
We got equal Earth here.
Projections. Don't get me started. This is I should not say the word, but this is so cool. Yep. Some people they watch other things on the internet. This is me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's really, I think there was 2 parts about this. One, because I have in the basement right next to my my full framed regional map of the Whisper Valley. I have a map that's that has south up. And those just the different, what I like about it is just thinking about the different ways that maps affect us, so this one is both ideal is that it's it's differently proportioned, but also that we've got Africa in the middle, which suddenly now when you're thinking about what's the east and what's the west and what's the center of the world, right now we've got Africa as the center of the world. And that I think it's important as we're putting together whatever we're putting together, just to be thinking about how we can, because in a fictional world, we want to control the narrative, right? We want people to be focused on something. So when you made the Krakenheim, it's like, we're gonna privilege something and make that the center of our story. We want to make sure that people drill in on this, or when you're, whatever map you're making is trying to figure out, or when, I guess for you, Anna, it seems like it's more as you're framing a map, right? Because you're sort of making the world, but then you're going to choose a piece of it to present at some point. And so as you're framing it, and I think that's really a neat thing to think about. And it's same with writing, and same with, it's just part of art.
Yeah, and one of the things when you have projections on a global scale, just take Greyhawk as an example, and I use it because that's the one I know the most. And when you look at the Darlene map and stuff, we don't know what the projection of the Darlene map is. And there's someone wrote down and say, well, a hex is 30 miles. But the thing is that if a hex is 30 miles all over the map, the projection is impossible. So that means that the hex, and someone say, oh, but you need to, each hex is smaller. They are 30 miles down by the equator, and then they get smaller and smaller and smaller. And that opens up a whole bunch of things, meaning you have to calculate how far north you are, and then how many hexes.
I mean, maybe it's a really huge diameter sphere.
Exactly. And or we live in a world that is on a cylinder and not on a sphere, so to speak. That will make projections a lot easier.
Do we?
Yeah, exactly. So we have and Midgard,
with a chimney.
I like that, Midgard is talked about, it's on a flat world, which is awesome, except when you want to use real world cartography tools, because then they become problematic. But it's simplify things. But when it comes to like long journeys across the ocean or across, meaning it depends on the Greyhawk map. It could take a week down at or take a month down by the equator, and it takes a week or less up north to go those hexes because the distance, or the projection is different, and that means that it's so it's a lot different, and also how large countries are and important. So it's kind of so I try to we'll tweak Greyhawk so it will look the way we are used to. So that means that I have to massage it a bit, but I want Greyhawk to look like the Darlene map, but in the real world, so to speak, or projected real. So that will be my standpoint. I don't want to squeeze it down so it looks funny. I want it to look right. and feel real, so to speak. So that means I need to but that means that some of the actual georeference will be a little bit wrong, because if I use the real ones, it will look completely wonky, and people accuse me of that instead. So it
reminds me, I played in a Isle of Dread game with a GM who was he had all kinds of fun stuff in the background, but one of the things that he was super excited about was he had this table that was, if you're this tall and you're looking out at the horizon at something at this height, how far away can you see it?
Yep.
And it seemed like, 3 or 4 times every single game session, we would make use of that. It's like, well, I'm up on a mountain, or I'm up on a rooftop, or I'm on a ship, whatever it is.
Yep, your 10 nautical miles at sea level, and then calculate your sight, meaning how good the atmospheric decision, the circumstances are, and then you go up 10 feet and you see 35 miles. So I used to know this by heart, but I started to forget a little bit, and
This is a
I don't know where this map came from. This was just some piece of whatever that showed up one day.
You like
awesome stuff.
Yeah. So
what publication?
The Village of Whisper.
Village
Whisper.
Is okay.
Sorry, what?
What publication is this in? Do you not remember?
This is from Whisper and Venom.
Okay, Whisper and Venom. Okay.
Yeah, this is which Frog Gods just is redoing in updated, but it's lesser known Zach Glazer's his entry into the professional world of gaming, and somehow he found this cartographer who was able to do some fantastic maps. And so, but this is the version that I used for several years running home campaign that started. So I was running a game at a convention, and then we turned into an online game, and it became an in-person game, and went back to online. But so this is the town of Whisper as it sort of evolved a little bit, and but I think it's the I have the Village of Hamlet, and I remember it from when I was a kid. But I had a long break from gaming, so for me, this is really my Village of Hamlet. Like, this is the map that's like the one I know the best. Like, if you drop me down somewhere, I have a story about something that happened in some part of it. And so that's kind of fun. More in the northern half, because the players didn't get too far into the south of the town. And I have an adventure that's written, northeast of here. There's a murder mystery going on, and there's fun stuff. So this one was more of it's a beautiful map, but it's more of a sentimental favorite, I guess, than a
awesome.
Can I share some fun facts about this one?
Please.
Yeah, of course.
So Zach Glazer did approach me about the Whisper and Venom map, and Zach is actually the guy that made me the cartographer that I am today in many ways, because the first map I gave to him, he was like, yeah, this is fine. Do better. I don't care what it costs. And that's only paraphrasing a little bit. And he's the guy that really opened the door to me that maps can be art. And there is an audience for it. Zach was that guy. So he kind of helped me create a style that is me. With this project, I was commissioned for an isometric, almost bird's eye view of a region, not the map you're seeing. And then I think, if I recall correctly, at one point he was like, can you do me a region map real quick? And I was like, wait, what? And he was like, little village, some farms. I was like, yeah, I guess. Now, my isometric viewpoint is actually the more popular style. Everyone loves it. I personally love this top-down view a huge amount. I like this. And when we were actually with Ed Greenwood on the last show, remember his little swirly cloud forests? Yeah. This shows that really, really well. And this is why I was saying, like, God damn it, I think I've got Ed Greenwood forests on my maps. I must have got some inspiration from him in the past for how to draw them. And the other thing is, I didn't do the labels, okay, folks? I don't know where they came from.
Well, so isn't it crazy how much inspiration everyone has subliminally taken from Ed and doesn't even realize it? And all the years of all the stuff he's done, it's crazy. So
yeah, the ugly, I should say, the ugly on the map is me.
Yeah, I'm
that's what happens when you give your beautiful artwork to a GM who just needs to like.
Well, that's okay though. It's you have the references on here and all. We know there's a map without it, and then which is cool. And then this is the last one I have here. This looks like a Cthulhu map.
Oh,
but it's not.
Some of the recent Cthulhu maps are actually. I'm playing in a D&D game it's a old school essentials game that comes with topo maps that look like these, but this is this is a real map, quote unquote. This is the Mount Washington style area, New Hampshire.
1988 says right here.
Yep. So this was probably my introduction to cartography and using maps, because this was trying not to get lost in the wilderness.
So. All of my early regional maps did this style, Edwin. This is like, I love this style, and it doesn't fit a fantasy universe, but I love this style so much. I love contour lines. I think they give you so much information.
In a survey, you have to love them. Yeah.
You know who loved contour lines? Leonard Lakofka. Mm-hmm. All his maps had contour lines all over it, which is
some
cool.
of them only have contour lines. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, and I love these also because these are old. This is the surveyor's art to begin with. You're right. There's no satellite going on for these. Or maybe there's some satellite by the time we're getting to these maps.
Yeah, in '88, I don't think there's much. No.
But it's mostly surveyors going out there with their survey equipment, and then so they're doing an initial interpretation, and then we get into the cartographer and the color and so much detail. So I mean, this is a scan of a paper map, but the version that I downloaded, this is a screenshot of a scan of a paper map.
That's cool. It works.
The one I downloaded is like 40 meg for something you could hike across in a couple days. So it's not quite 5 foot pixels, but we're
The fact that it was guys just out there measuring this shit, man. I mean,
It's insane.
You go out there because I've looked for contour lines and I've never found one. I mean, I'm out there hiking and I know they're out there.
Those markers for the Mason-Dixon line running up Delaware and through the Maryland-PA border, they're still there. I mean, some of them, it's crazy. They're only off by like 50 feet in some instances.
They were British surveyors. They did the whole of the Indian subcontinent in the 19th century using a donkey and a theodolite.
Oh, that's how they found Mount Everest.
Yeah,
exactly. They saw it. Yeah.
They used a compass, a tripod, a theodolite, and they used a needle and they triangulate the whole of the Indian subcontinent.
Did you hear the story about there was a surveyor who discovered that he'd been wrong about the height of Everest by like a foot?
Exactly. Meaning when they did that survey, they were right within a few feet. It was not that much.
So he committed suicide, and now we know that the mountain is actually moving.
Yeah, it's getting tall.
But he was not actually wrong by a foot.
Right,
he was so upset though.
Yeah.
This is 1800s.
I mean, you can stand like 50 miles away, and if you triangulate from a few locations, you get the elevation right within a few feet. That's amazing. With something you just look like your old rifle sights. The sights on a rifle,
phenomenal
basically.
Stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That stuff is astounding to me. I have to say, I actually like contour maps, even from a gamer's perspective. I think it gives enough to the DM to do all kinds of stuff.
So I'm gonna go to our wonderful air map here, and you said that this is all being updated, correct?
There it is. I'm not sure where I'm going to land on the maps. This Kickstarter will be in the first quarter next year. I haven't picked a month yet, but the codex itself is going to be a trail guide to Aird put out. There's going to be a whole bunch of new stuff that's coming with it.
Okay.
The codex itself is about sold out, so we're going to get that back in, keep that in print. But the maps, they need to be redone. I love this map. Peter did a fantastic job on this map. I really like it, but I think it's time to redo them. I don't know if this is the Kickstarter way to do it, but it's definitely time.
So the question, where's Altamira going to be? Right here. Unclewood, right here.
Yep.
Right here. As you can see, it kind of parallels a bit with what we have going on, in this area with the Sus, the Twilight Woods, the Lort Mills. It's perfect. It's a perfect spot for it. So right there.
It really is. It bleeds with the Twilight Wood. And as I've talked about on your show before, Greyhawk had a huge influence in the world, in the creation of the world of Aird. So there's vestiges of that everywhere.
Also, flip over your thought process with Selene. Fontenot is the elven estates of Aird. So boom. So I just take my elven houses I have for Selene. They're all mine. There's no, and pop them right here. Boom. And so it's just in reverse. So, yep. Perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know that, and we have where in relation is the Haunted Highlands to this? Because you'd have that map too.
So these are the lands of Ursel, and these lands are very, very roughly the size of probably the southeastern United States, something like that, maybe Western Europe. The land, but the planet itself, Aird is the world. These are the lands of Ursel. Aird is actually, in the big picture of things, it's the planet Venus 1 billion years ago, and the Haunted Highlands are going to be to the north and west, far, far off of this map.
Okay.
I've got a world map somewhere around here.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're up in the northern part.
So and then we'll get with in the future point where Anna, it's probably going to be, I don't know how many inches on either side of this, Anna, that area you've done out. It's going to be like.
It depends.
Yeah.
We'll say it's 60 by 60 miles we have done so far, so to speak. So we can work on that too. So
well, you can just edge that out a little bit, maybe another 1,000 miles or so.
we can do a regional map next year of that is 50 feet per pixel. Then we can do 600 by 600 something miles in each quadrant, so to speak, and work on it. And once I have that set up, it doesn't take that long to do. It takes me 17 hours to render one area, and to work on it once it's all set up, maybe a couple of weeks to do each area once I'm up and running, so to speak, of non-interrupted work. So what used to take 25 years. It doesn't take that long anymore. So we can now it's starting to be feasible. So I have plans for Greyhawk now that I didn't dare to have like 6-8 months ago, but
That's
now
pretty
thanks
amazing.
to both hardware and software, it actually works. So yep, I'm very, very happy.
It's awesome. So Lexfire says he's actually running a Haunted Highlands campaign right now. That's George.
Oh, nice. You
Yeah.
know, next to Air, that's our most popular setting. The Haunted Highlands, we get a lot of feed on it. We need to get that back into print. We've got pieces of it in print because people love it. Casey Christopherson wrote that. He works for Frog God. He's one of the best writers out there, I think, for adventure material. And the Haunted Highlands is perfect.
So, John, basically what you can do with Anna's maps, and Anna's shown this in past on with her Shieldlands, is you can go right down into the town from above.
Yeah, 5 feet per pixel. That means
Yeah.
that you see individual buildings and individual trees.
So yeah,
and then what I do is that I simply increase them 10 times. So I take like a village map, I blow it up 10 times, and then I just sketch over that area. And then I have a basic in an hour or so. I have not something that looks as good as Alyssa's maps, but for an hour of work, it looks okay to run in a VTT and for my campaign, so to speak. So it
Do
looks
both those, John.
semi-professional in that sense, and it's quickly done, and I can do it for every location the players get to, everywhere, so to speak. And I can just paint in the rough parts on the map that is porta potty scale. 1 pixel is 5 feet, and then blow it up, and I have 10 pixels per 5 feet. That's enough to detail simple things like where doors are and walls and windows, and you can put all the little nitty things like and stuff where you have a barrel or box or the stuff that you need to. It's a primitive but really functioning dungeon map or city map or even and inside buildings. I double it again, so 20 pixels per 5 feet is enough to draw a decent looking VTT map. So that way I can quickly, and I have these standardized, so I just take them into Photoshop, blow them up according to, and then I can just paint over them, and then one will be accurate to another one, so to speak. And I don't need to update everything. I can just keep the basic stuff where forest and trees and stuff, and it works really good with some filters in Photoshop. You can do it really quickly, and you can add whatever. And that means that in the future, you can take my area map, take it into GIMP and just do some texture on it and draw the buildings and stuff and the roads. And you have your own map that is accurate for the area. And then you can move on to wherever the characters are going quickly.
I'm going to do a quick self-righteous, absorbed, whatever, shout out for Anna. How many Patreon slots do you have open for the custom map work?
To be honest, I'm going to dismantle it. So you grab one quickly if you want one, because they're not going to be many more, because that's one of the things that, and I love to work on these. It's not that I love to work. I have what is like 6 or 7 now, I think, that I've been working on for about a year. And it's awesome fun. The problem is that they're all asking for a lot of cool stuff that I don't normally do. So it's all of them are kind of side quests for me. And I realize if I have 20 years to do it, then even if I would love to do side quests, it's awesome fun, especially if I get paid, it's even more fun. But to be honest, I need to if it's not part of my core mission, I need to dismantle it in the future and teach people how to do what I do so they can do it themselves and then stay on it. So but that doesn't mean that if I'm doing it, I will finish the projects I'm on. I've committed. So they will be around for another year, but then I will start dismantling it, I think, because people came with so many cool ideas for me to do so many cool other things that was
beyond just editing the map. I got it.
Yeah, so do all sorts of things, from mapping people's home campaigns to come with advice, to do all sorts of cool things. Everybody wanted their own mapping needs fulfilled, so to speak. And that was half the idea I had, but it was kind of people took it to and it kind of split me up into too many. My old brain is a little bit too much for my old brain in the future. So yeah.
I just asked Anna to edit this, and I usually do it about twice a year now. I try not to go drive Anna crazy with that.
And also like general advice. This is an area that that a lot of publishers are screaming for cartographers. So if you are an artist that have a hard time finding a job, learn to do maps, and you will be sought after.
Well,
I get a proposal. Yeah, I get a proposal once a week from a publisher or someone else who wants to pay me good money, or at least from an industry standard, decent money to do maps. EN World, for instance, is now looking for cartographers for the future projects. I don't know what it is, but you can send it in. And when publishers are actively out advertising for something, that means that meaning a lot of the other stuff, they don't need to advertise. There are tons of artists who can do all sorts of stuff and are looking for work. But if you're a good cartographer, you're not looking for work. Work is looking for you. So this is a niche I think you should look into. Yep.
So as we wind down here, because we got 18 giveaways to get through.
Yep.
How about we say the one thing each of us are excited about for 2023, the top thing? How's that sound? Sound like a good idea? You know what mine is, of course. Get cranking on this and get out and get this to a point where we can actually start scheduling the Kickstarter, Stephen. There you go. So that's for me. That's from me. So who wants to shoot out what they're most excited for next year?
I have one quickie. 3 letters. GIS. For me.
So you're going to GIS Greyhawk?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Starting next year. Yep. GIS. And that will be, that's just the overview of it. And that's the technical part. Disregard that. That means that I have to do a lot of cool shit to make that happen. And some of them are I have one more I'm going to show before the end of the show, but that's the big one. And of course, Altamira is another one, because that will be the first full showcase of a new generation of maps. So those are the first 2 really, really big highlights for me. Yeah,
I'm picturing the dragon-based stereoscopic imaging surveyor drones that are going to gather the information over Greyhawk to allow you to create this amazing.
Yep, I have a celestial dragon that I'm using to well, maybe I'm a dragon myself. You never know. Yep,
that's even better.
A lot of pseudo dragons flying around doing all that.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So 42 Gaming said GaryCon, and I agree. GaryCon's going to be awesome.
Yeah, GaryCon.
And just note, we haven't really announced this yet, but most of Ed Greenwood's adventuring group in my campaign, 2 Drink Minimum, is going to be there. So I'm DMing for them at GaryCon on a Saturday, and the only one that's not going to be there is Eric Boyd. And we're adding Mr. Voluskis in, right, to take a place, who's working with Ed on Fate of the Norns, and we're gonna raffle. We're not raffle. We're gonna auction off a final seat that's going to go to the charity up for that day. Whoever during the charity auction, because the game's gonna be right before the charity auction. So if you want to play in that game and you're there, bring your wallet, and we'll throw you in there, and it'll all go to charity, that extra seat. So just note. That's a big thing I'm looking forward to. So we still got Alyssa and Stephen on what they're looking for. And
you want me to dive in, Alyssa?
Go.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm actually looking forward to the aired material, and the reason that I'm looking forward to that is it needs an overhaul, definitely, and it's kind of the linchpin for a lot of projects that we're doing. The Codex of Aird is the world, of course, that we're doing. There's the Lands of Ursul behind me on that map. And that'll tie into the Codex of the Plains, which itself will tie into Davis's world of Enzea, which is the inner world inside of Aird. This ties into Jason Vey's Amazing Adventures, and his, because the modern Venus is the destroyed world of Aird after the apocalyptic Gonfod from the fantasy world. So that all ties it all in together. And this past 2 years have been a fantastic year for Castles and Crusades. Frog God Games began publishing CNC material. We're expanding in every which direction. Awesome. The game itself has gained a lot of traction in the community, especially in the light of some announcements from Wizards of the Coast. We're seeing a lot of people hopping over from that, and I think the world of Aird, it's a good time to put that forward, and then of course that ties into the free city of Altamira. Which hopefully in 2023 we will.
Yes. I'm going to get my butt kicked by a lot of people. I I gotta back it up. All the talk up there, Steven, and it's coming. So, yeah.
The Aird and Altamira all come rolling out, and it brings us to what I really want to do, which is start growing kumquats and selling.
Yes!
Yes, kumquats farming. Yes.
Alyssa.
I'm going to actually go back to all of the maps that I've done for Stephen. I'm going to add a kumquat tree to each one.
Oh.
That's what I'm looking forward to the most. No, but I'm actually, to echo what was said earlier by 42, Gary Khan. I go to a few cons each year, and I love them all very much. Gary Khan has a special place in my heart, and part of it is honestly the stuff I take to the auction that they do, and I'm going to have a few more things this year for them. And I'm not talking about just shit I've dragged off my shelves. I always try to paint a miniature for them. And this year I'm hoping to have the cosmology of role playing to them. And Jay, we could take a look at that next month. The cosmology of role playing is just going to be this kick-ass map. It's going to have over 1,200 titles on it. It's going to be a massive poster piece, and Luke already greenlit getting every single guest to sign it. So I just want to see that at auction. I really do. Maybe I'll even get Stephen to sign it if he will actually acknowledge me.
Well, next year, Elisa, we're going to not even next year. In 2 weeks, we're going to get started on that project.
Yeah, we are. I got the thing you sent me still.
Yeah,
I have a special folder set up for you, my friend. So yeah, we'll definitely get.
Give me a wrong button, everyone. I just wrong button something. Oh my gosh,
that's awesome. Yep, just circle us.
Back. Yep. I gotta try and bring it back. Give me a sec.
That's so cool. Yep.
That was a major.
Oh, that's a good one. That's my favorite screen so far.
That was a major wrong button. Oh, now look, it's not coming back up. Oh my God, Jay. Give me a second.
Wrong buttons.
I killed you all.
Oh, you killed us?
I did something.
Damn, they can't even hear us.
Dangerous show to be on.
There you go.
No, they can hear you.
There we go.
Okay.
There we
go.
go.
I hit a wrong button. Like I do once in a blue moon. I'm trying to multitask way too much. There we go. I'll put you back in. Boom. It's going to be off a hair.
We really need to have something set up so Jay has to contribute to his own channel when he hits the wrong button.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, a little swear jar.
I did 20 gift subs today, so that
gift sub every
I think every
button.
Single time you press the wrong button, there should be 5 subs that just automatically go out.
Or like a hero point or something to the next game or something like that to the players or something like that. Special hero point. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 18,
we got a lot of gifts.
18 gifts, the holiday cheer episode. Okay.
I have one more map I want to show.
Okay.
I want to show it before we get into
hopefully
if I
only a couple of minutes. Again.
I'm gonna because already I'm presetting stuff up here. Yep. Of course, I knew that was gonna happen.
Take the Age of the Flan map. I want to
give me
show
one
it a
sec
little
here,
bit.
Anna.
Yep. Now you.
Yeah, because it was on both. Place. It was on both. Stupid.
There you go.
Zoom's not re-embedding itself all the time. It's not your fault. It was mine. I screwed it up. So I got to re-embed real quick. All right, we got it.
That's good. Yep. Now we all disappeared.
Yeah, you all disappeared.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah, hold on.
It's the invisible kumquat.
Yes. I bjorked that screen.
Yep.
I bjorked it. So let me go back and forth. It's my own fault. I got to put the layout page down. There we go. There we go. I got it now.
Hey, perfect.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I had to take a deep breath there. Which one?
Age of the Flan.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
This is I'm going to make a version of the map, and it's only a quarter scale, so it's 4 miles per pixel, so it's not that. But I wanted to for my own go back history of recreate what in my campaign what the Flannies look like 2,500-3,000 years ago or something like that, when during the Age of the Flan, when the Witch Kings, a little bit before Vecna, when the Serarak and stuff, where they were youngsters barely created yet, and the old faith were the new faith, so to speak, and the Ur-Flan ran the Flannies, and the Olmen were a big thriving culture in the south, and long before the migrations and stuff. This is my take on what I think the Flannies will look like in my campaign for that, and it was coming out of an ice age. The oceans were about 500-600 feet lower than they are in present times, so to speak. So I'm reworking climate-wise, and I'm reworking the geography accordingly, so to speak. So it's about halfway done. It's a quarter, and I will put my idea of what it looks like, and the whole purpose of this is to instill some imagination of what could have been before, in order to facilitate this history we know, because we know the Greyhawk history fairly well from migration onwards, but before then it's all myth, legend, just basic ideas and concept, not much more than that. And I want to nail down what I think for my campaign, what led to the stuff, so to speak. So this is my first attempt at a historic map. I want to do other ones when I go the rest of the world. I am working on the Earth 2.0 as part of it. That's coming too. This is part of that project of creating the whole planet. I did version 1.5, and now I'm working on 2.0 and have a lot of ideas. And this is part of doing that project, so to speak. So it's recreating the map with a colder climate, a lower ocean, and some other stuff. And now I'm going to spill the beans. I've talked with Gary Julian. So the Sea of Dust and all that, of course, this is pre-Cataclysm. So that area, I haven't touched it yet. That area will be reworked to my idea, and with a lot of great input from Gary Julian and a couple of others.
Here on a picture.
Exactly. Yes. So that is coming. I have a model. I didn't want to show it yet because it's so rough, but I have a model. So that's going to be reworked to be pre-Cataclysm. The whole Western Flanies will be pre-Cataclysm. The idea I have for it, so to speak. So that is coming, and this is a spring map that is halfway done already. Yep.
I'm just texting Jimmy Duffy because I got a genius idea. I got a genius idea when this is over.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, awesome stuff, Anna. So here's some of the options. For Frog God, you got 2 $25 gift certificates, and then you also have 2 sets of these. All right, the Book of Lost Spells and the Lost Land maps. 2 of those, 2 sets. Tome of Alchemy and the World of Lost. Both. All right, so that's 4 there. All right. From Troller Games, the big one from Troller Games is Sketches, The Register, all hardback. Whoops. And what am I missing there?
Book of Names.
There you go. Book of Names. All 3 signed by Steven. Okay.
Well, that's what I want to win.
And hardback. Also,
it's thousands and thousands of NPCs.
Yes.
And he will sign next to each one.
With a different name, right? For each one?
Yes, a different name for each one.
He will sign their name.
Their name.
Yep.
In their handwriting.
Also,
Delivery 2025.
Courtesy of Troy Cannibal, the Wacom tablet. All right. And
awesome.
We also have 10 other gift certificates. 5 of them are 15, and they're good for hard copy and from Trollord, and 5 10s that are good for digital. That's 18 total. Okay. All right. You need to tell me. You need to claim, and you need to tell me what you want, and I'm going to write it down because it's going to go boom, 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 boom. And yes, so you can't dilly dally here. All right. We got 12 of them are gift certificates. And so 6 are actual physical copy sets, right? Deep breath. This isn't as bad as last year when we had 32. So that was just nuts last year. So we got some good stuff. All right. No Soul can win. Oh, Troy said, all right, you're out, Rich. No Soul's allowed to win. As we got got that going on there. Last call, exclamation point drawing, get it in. As everyone knows, if you're subbed, you get a bonus ticket. I'm nice to my hey, you're gonna sub to the channel, always a good thing. So it's always been that way for all. One of the benefits of subbing. Alrighty. Now, hopefully, I don't imagine me crashing right now. No, I'm just kidding. That would be bad. Here we go. I'm gonna close it out. Good luck to everyone.
18 of them. Is it a draw and replace raffle or just a draw and throw out the name raffle?
I'm going to throw out the name, and they're going to tell me what. We're going to
No,
write
I
down.
mean, can they win twice?
No, they can't, because once the name's drawn, it won't redraw. So, yep,
Okay.
it's a 1-win plus. And trust me, we have 82 people on and 18 things to give away, so we got plenty of things to go around. Here's the big winner. There's going to be 2 big winners, I think, out there. Steven Signed Books and the Wacom, first choice. The winner is DM John. Nice, John. John, yes, who's
Awesome.
a big 2E guy. So,
Oh, nice.
yes, but he better, yes, John, DM John.
What do
You
they
have to
like
speak up
15
and
seconds
to
1
claim their
second,
prize?
John.
Yes.
There
Oh,
he
there
is.
he
All
is.
right, John.
There he
John,
is.
I need you. Do you know Troy Cannibal? Cannibal Troy. Whisper to him, because Troy is going to send it right to you. All right. So John Gratz. All right. All right. So get with Cannibal if you know the legendary Troy. Next winner. Wayne, the king of the gift sub tonight. Wayne.
Oh.
I'm assuming you want to sign books, Wayne, but you can choose something else if you so choose. Gratz, damn weirdo.
Congratulations, Dan.
Congratulations. I'm making that assumption right now, but let me write that down. DM John D with the 1. So and then where is Wayne? Where is Wayne? VIP. I don't see. Is Wayne?
There he is.
Yeah, there we go. All right, Wayne. Do you want to sign books or do you want something else? You just let me know, and then we're gonna keep it. Oh, that's all right. We got you. I'm assuming you want the Steven signed books. You're winner number 2. So okay. Yep. Okay. I got it. I'll get you with Chuck, and we'll get that all coordinated. Okay. The rest of the stuff I can handle here. Ishlan Loki. Remember, you got these 2 sets of books. Also, I just asked Continental US for these, please, and we got you got $25 Frog God, $15 Troll Lord. Ishlan Loki, you're up on the board. All right. Next, Armin, you're getting a gift certificate because you're in New Zealand. So, Armin, do you want the $25 Frog God or a $15 Troll Lord? You tell me. All right, and then Ishlan Loki. All right, I'm gonna give you. You tell me, Lost Spells or Alchemy, Ishlan. Tell me between those 2. Oh, okay. Ooh. We can send to your mother-in-law. All right. Well, if you want one of these, that's fine too. You just tell me, Armin. That's good. We can send them to Washington, where your mother-in-law is. Lost Spells. Ishlan Loki. Got it. All right. You just let me know there, Armin, where you want it to go. Which one you want? Because I still have both of these. I got doubles. All right. I'll do Lost Spells for you. What did Ishlan do? Did I just do that
Lost
backwards?
Spells.
He did. Okay.
Yeah, Ishan has the Lost Spells.
All right, I'll do. All right, so I'll do Alchemy for Armin unless he tells me otherwise. All right, next winner. Balfrin. Oh, congrats, Bal. So everyone, we'll talk about this, but we have a BattleTech game tomorrow. Balfrin gave me this. This is a sealed BattleTech starter set with miniatures and everything for the giveaway tomorrow for the game tomorrow morning. Nice. So good for him. Bal's usually a gift certificate guy, so but we'll see here. Next winner. Yeah, he wins a battle. Odysseus BB. Tell me what you want, Odysseus. Yeah, Bal, just tell me what you want, man. And Odysseus, you're up. I'm gonna keep on rolling, guys. So Odysseus, what do you want? Tell me. We got 25s and 15s or one of these 2 sets of books. And once these sets of books are gone, I'll pull these off here. Kai Brightwing, Kai Gratz. Keep on going. You win. You tell me what you want. You get it. Because I'm going to start rolling books. All right. You're going to get the Lost Spells there, Odysseus. All right. I think I already have your address, but I'll check. So we still need Kai and we need and Bal. Bal, did you decide? I'm gonna give you a Bal. I'm gonna give you a Frog God 25. You tell me if I'm wrong. All right, Kai is up still. All right, keep on going here. Scottish Jeff, Gratz. I know you're on. I just saw you. Gotcha. Okay. Scottish Jeff, I still have the Alchemy one. Still have this. And still have Frog God 25s and a whole bunch of Troll Lords. I'm keeping on rolling. Because you know me, I'll start assigning, which is fine. Mech Boy 21, thank you for all the gift subs too. Congrats, you won something. So Mech Boy, just tell me these sets of books are still up. Okay, so I'm giving Kai a 25. He hasn't. Mech Boy, I haven't heard from. Scottish Jeff, I haven't heard from either. Right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just counting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's right. Okay. Kai.
Mech Boy has an alchemy request.
Alchemy, you got it, Mech Boy. I don't think I have your name and address, do I, Mech Boy? So please put that in whisper to me, not in the main chat, but in. All right. So all the books are gone. Now we're on gift certificates still. Okay. Mech Boy 25. Doing my best here, everyone. We still have who did I say? Kai and Scottish Jeff haven't responded, right? Okay, I got them both because Scottish Jeff. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anyone because it's going to go quick now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got him. Okay, here we go. Next winner. Lando. There's a Frog God 25 or a Troll Lord 15. You tell me. There's one Frog God 25 and there's a Troll Lord 15. Troll Lord 15 for Lando. You got it. Grats. Thank you, Baker. Appreciate that. Next winner. Agora. I know he's streaming now, so I'm going to give him a Troll Lord 15, okay? I know he came on, and he's back. He's still on his channel streaming, and so I gave him a 15 there. Grats, Agora. Next winner. Seeker, Les. Frog God 25, Troll Lord 15. Frog God 25, Leslie Reno, got it, Les. Okay, I got, now we got a Troll Lord 15, which is for hard copy credit, and then we got 5 digital 10s, and we'll call it a night here as we keep on rolling here. Next winner, GD, you got a 20, you got a GDTRB. 1995. You got a Troll Lord 15. By the way, like I normally say, Steven, every time, Chuck has to cut these still, and he hasn't cut them, so I'm not giving them to you tonight, everyone. He said tomorrow, or he has them. He just hasn't put them on my Discord yet. But Chuck's
all right.
Yeah.
You
Chuck,
want me to yell at him?
No, please don't. Chuck told me about the computer break, losing stuff and all. I feel bad enough for Chuck.
Yeah, he had a rough day yesterday.
Yeah. All right, Colby 609, one of my players, $10 digital. Good. Grats, Walt. Next one, Alex Antiquitous. You got a 10. Okay. Please, TLG, make Chuck work more. That's just, oh my gosh. Claygen, grats, Claygen. And by the way, I liked your Star Trek stream last night. I caught a little bit of it. Grats. Next winner.
We'll do it.
2 to go. Celtic Boar. Nice. Last one. And we did all 18 that quick. Look at that. It's 10 o'clock. Jimmy Duffy's going to be coming on in a minute. Brune Brass Axe. All the way from Australia. You got the last one.
Awesome.
Congrats, everyone.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congrats. Happy holidays, everyone, for this holiday cheer episode. As always, Alyssa and Anna, thank you. Alyssa, are you good? Can you hang for like another 20 minutes?
Why do I have to hang?
Because Duff's going to come on, and we're going to talk about a little BattleTech character thing.
Well, that seems like a Duff problem. But yeah, I'll hang.
Awesome. And any final thoughts, Edwin and Steven? What a wonderful discussion tonight.
Thank you so much. It was super fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Anytime. Anna, final thoughts?
I just want to thank my patrons and the whole Greyhawk community and everyone who's viewed this show, Ladies and Lore, Gavin, mapping live streams and stuff. I couldn't do this without you guys. So it's a privilege to do this. So thank you everyone to make this a possibility. Yeah.
Your GCs are easy because I can even just Twitch chat them to you, Brune. Don't worry, either that or Discord. They're the easy parts. So here's what's going to happen. And see, I'm going to spring this on Alyssa. I'm gonna stream this discussion with Duff to make and just talk about the game. So that Bal, if you want to just hop on and hang, or Patrick, you guys want to just hop on and hang. I'm not going to change the screen or anything, but I'm going to turn it off so it splits and come back on, and we're just going to have a little bit of a BattleTech discussion because that's the way. Might as well, right? And then we'll raid into someone else after that. So please don't feel obligated to hang here if you have no interest whatsoever. Understand that. So thank you.
For you, Alyssa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Edward, and thank you.
I want to say,
thank you guys.
I want to say to
in.
the two sponsors tonight, thank you for your generosity. It means that the community grows every year, and it's just a wonderful thing. I think we really got something special here. I look on Twitter, and I see a lot of these. I'm not trying to, I'm so not trying to toot my own horn, but the communities, a lot of them are like, I can't keep audience. People don't have an interest. And I always tell them, you got to grow a community. You got to have people, and you got to all participate equally and help each other, assist each other, work together. And I just think we have something special here. And I just want to say happy holidays to everyone. Whatever you revere, please enjoy the time with your family and friends. And this is just a really special time here. So I'm going to exit this stream. And then 45 seconds later, turn it back on. Okay. Everyone have a good one. Steven, Edwin.
Thanks
Alyssa,
again, man.
Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Happy holidays. See you
Happy
soon.
holidays.
See you very soon. Oh, I almost turned it off without hitting the wrong button. Hitting the wrong button here. All right, we're gonna end this stream here. Then whatever. All right, cool. Broadcast ending 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It'll be